Jesus Christ. Welcome on in, everybody. Mike's here. It is Monday. Audio is behind by 1.5 seconds. It's not. Welcome on in, everybody. Sorry for the late start today. Apple products are fucking trash. Did you see this? After causing the shitstorm, Sarah crawls back under a rock like a scorpion. I get a lot of, you're not a Democrat. You don't get to tell the Democrats what to do this weekend. Fact check true. I'm not a Democrat. I guess I'm a political independent, but that's beside the point. I'm an American who cares about liberal democracy in America. Fascists like you should be in prison. Chad, I'm going to try to catch some of these centrists. I'd be happy to. I'm going to try to catch some of these centrists with cyanide-laced honey instead of just acid. You know, it's fucking dope. How's your day going? Outstanding, Chad. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed. Where is the? I think I have an image, right? Oh no, that's Ethan Eyes. Fuck. Is it the cube? No, that's the cube. Okay, that's the logo. Is it on Twitch legal? Yeah, no, that's Twitch legal. All right, well, shit. Anyway, brand new reaction podcast, which I'm going to be adding. Oh, here we are, chat. Reaction cast. The reaction podcast. We have our brand new episode about Nick Fuentes. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. You guys
fascist
check out
ICE
the new
agents roam America's streets,
podcast.
kidnapping children, separating families, and shooting American citizens that resist in cold blood. Online, the most radical base of support for these abhorrences
pretty soon we're going to be having our, I think
Nick
this weekend
Fuentes'
is
most
our
rabid
Live Agar pod.
These antisocial incel shut-ins are a movement so hollowed out by irony, grievance, and online nihilism that no act of depravity against their enemies is enough.
There's going to be...
Hey, bitch, we control your bodies.
There's going to be the people who... There's going to be the people that were podcast Patreon members before the Live Agar podcast, and then there's going to be everyone else. You're going to want to be a pre-Live Agar, okay? That's what you want. I love the podcast. Hugo has terrible audio balance and is too quiet at times, and others are too loud. This pisses off my wife. Please fix. I will take that 100% into advisement. In fact, I'm going to just send that exact message as feedback. I am not an audio pervert, so this kind of stuff doesn't really VO did tell me this, and I did talk about it before. We have the thing is about me not being an audio pervert. Sorry about that, chat, for going silent there for a second. Is actually my audio is very balanced, and the most part, because I'm a yeller, I've had to like tweak shit over the years, and my audio doesn't actually explode. You know, like my audio is actually relatively flat because I had to tweak it over the years. Your podcast voice is greater than your streamer voice. Yeah, I think the streamer voice is I project more. That's honestly the issue. Your audio is the best. Well, yeah, no shit. Do I get special privileges for being the first Patreon sub to the podcast? Honestly, I may consider that. I think we might do that's a good idea. I might do a limited time podcast role that you can only get if you got it in the ground floor. Because you Johnny come latelys, you know, I don't want you to be able to get credit when you join in on America's next great podcast late into the thing. You were told at the beginning, you better get in there. And actually, it's doing pretty damn well. But go check it out, the Nick Fuentes episode. I think it's the best yet. I've listened to every pod twice so far, too broke to sub. Well, then that means you need to get other people who you know that are not too broke to sub. Help promote the pod. Go spend an hour saying how great it is to random people. Go write reviews on every podcast app. Gas is up to 420, Virginia. Okay, anyway, welcome on in, everybody. Central Committee stream here. Mike from PA here. It is Monday, April 6th. We had a little bit of an oopsie doopsie over the weekend, huh? We had a little oopsie doopsie over the weekend. And guess what, chat? They're doing it again. Guys, we're about to get a ceasefire. Guys, we're about to get a ceasefire. Now, you may read this. Iran mediators make last-ditch push for 45-day ceasefire. You might read this and think, oh, Iran's negotiators are going for a ceasefire. Iran is ready to throw in the towel. This is actually ambiguous. They came up with an ambiguous headline to mislead you. The Iran mediators are not Iran's negotiators. They are other countries. This headline, I would say, is so ambiguous as to be a lie. Every Monday since this war has started, they've done this exact same fucking thing. Also, it's from Barack Ravid. Come on. So we are now, I have to say that we are actually in a world of utter, I think like the human race is kind of tired. And I mean that not in the sense of like physically tired. I think there has been some sort of fatal death drive that is now occupying our society. I think capitalism has actually broken humanity. It's like an entire world that's in a coma or something. Why would Iran want a 45-day ceasefire? They wouldn't. That's the point. It's just propaganda to keep the markets from crashing. Because this whole entire weekend, see, S&P 500 rises as investors wait possible Iran and U.S. ceasefire. This is made up. It was made up last Monday. It was made up the Monday before. It was made up the Monday before. It's the same fucking pattern. We can literally see it happening. This is the most delusional the market has ever been. I honest to God, what can you even fucking say? Thank you for the hype train to start the stream. We are at 5806 on the sub count. Trump tacoed Canada. Gotta react to the Hasan Cuba video later. Yeah, we definitely might do that. Iranian embassy calling you out, Mike. I'm gonna ban you, Bizarre. No wonder some Americans say Iran instead of Iran. Iran. I love Iran. Also, I made this exact joke. They're stealing my fucking jokes. Although this is the most obvious joke of all time. And I don't know what to say. You know, we are in a situation of just civilizational apathy. Nothing gets anybody excited anymore. Nothing gets anybody worked up anymore. It's like their emotions are being like sapped. I guess we're all addicted to the phone. Meanwhile, Israel is bombing petrochemical facilities. I can't understand why Iran doesn't just blow up all facilities. They're fighting a slow total war on Iran. There is no peace. And by the way, Iran doesn't have any hardliners. This is just something that needs to be said. Iran doesn't even have any hardliners, to be honest with you. Like, they don't really have any. Gas prices are going through the roof, and I'm pretty sure I have evidence they're watering that shit down because it absolutely does not taste the same anymore. Okay, Jenna, that's very funny. My local Iranian church is now saying we have no control over what happens. It's in God's hand. They're cope for originally supporting the war. Yeah. Wow, I can't believe they got tricked. Did you see the right-wing cope about Hasan's Twitter metrics not having as many verified accounts? Yeah, because verified people are overwhelmingly right-wing. Not all, but that's just the way it is. There's a lot more and by the way, who buys verification on an account that has 100 viewers? State operators that are trying to boost their message. What do you think about the Meat Canyon video? I think that enlightened centrist content is fucking garbage, and I think it's trash, and I'm not friends with Meat Canyon, so I don't have to pretend that it's good. Like, you know what I mean? Well, like, actually Hasan and like Asmongold are actually like they're like two sides of the same coin, man, and like they rely on each other to make money, like as if Hasan was not just out here doing his shit, doing his political thing, and then Asmongold came in to like try to deplatform him and slander him, and Hasan responded. We have to do this whole like, oh yeah guys, it's like it's all just like they're like two sides of the same. I'm such an enlightened centrist, bro. It's just like a boring, not funny. Also, it was just bad. It's the worst Meat Canyon video I've seen yet. The whole video was mid despite the effort put into it. I mean, I don't know what to say, man. Wasn't good. Meat Canyon idealizes JonTron, who is a white supremacist that even the lowly Destiny dunked on like a decade. I mean, I don't think Meat Canyon's politics are that bad. I just think he has internet guy brain where it's like, ooh, I talk about this before, but there's like what I call it stupid cynicism versus like appropriate cynicisms or savvy or whatever. Stupid cynicism is this like way that you level yourself into apathy by just going like, oh man, both sides are the same, man, and like you can't really, like, nothing really matter, like, you know, Hasan and Azagor are like the same guy, dude. You know, it's permission to not care about anything by a very lazy version of cynicism that doesn't require you to actually contend with anything that's happening. And it's permission to be a lazy slop consumer. The IDF forcefully struck Iran's largest petrochemical plant. The key factory accounts for 50% of Iran's petrochemical output. This follows an attack on Iran's second largest facility last week. As a result, both facilities, which together account for 85% of Iran's petrochemical production, are now out of operation. This represents a multi-billion-dollar economic blow to the Iranian regime. Okay, now I'm going to just say something, chat, and I'm only going to say it once. If you link me another less than 50 like tweet on a major breaking news event, I swear to fucking God, I'm not just going to permaban you. I'm going to track you down through the internet just for the purpose of unplugging your internet router. I need you to get better at this. I am so tired of having to like actively filter links in the middle of the stream because you're giving me stuff that even a moron can understand is not reliable. Can you at least apply a modicum of brain power? Just do me a solid, man. Do me a fucking solid. Bought your favorite tweets before sharing. Well, it's just like, okay, we have an account, no motion. I've never heard of it. Has some generic fucking name like World News Central. Has 20 likes on it, and you want me to read it as reliable breaking news. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Imagine if Iran bombed and destroyed the Golden Gate Bridge in California. What would you call that act? The U.S., Israel, the aggressors bombed and destroyed Iran's tallest bridge, the B1 bridge. This will unify the Iranian people against Israel and the United States. This is not what Trump ran on, and it's not what we voted for. All that's happening is all the people that are actually connected to the grassroots, and like it or not, Alex Jones is connected to the grassroots of the right. He understands that this war is going to be very unpopular, and he knows how to ride the algorithm. He knows how to read his audience, and so he is adjusting. This is just a sign that the popularity of Donald Trump is entering a critically low point. Now, maybe this is a miscalculation. I don't know. I mean, I personally believe that if you're a Republican at this point, you are a member of Trump's cult. You are a cult member. There is nothing that can be said that will change your mind. Trump can't do anything. Like, if you support Trump now, you are epistemically closed. You're not open to being persuaded. You're not open to information coming in. So, like, my opinion towards right-wingers is destroy them. I mean, because everybody who's persuadable is out. And that's like 70% of people are out on this war. If you're in that 30%, you just need to be contained, defeated, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It is what it is. If you're still supporting Trump now, then you are cattle. You are not a human. So it's really, what do you want me to say? And yes, this, by the way, this link that you just sarcastically gave me is actually much more valuable than a 50 like tweet, because this is a representative of the populist, so-called, fake populist right going against Donald Trump and getting 58,000 likes. I stuck by you through some of the most insane shit ever said. Quite honestly, a lot of it ended up true, LOL. But this whole sipping for Iran thing, I don't know. It just hits different. I can't actually believe you believe what you're saying. I hope. Trump ran on not having a war with Iran. This closure of the Strait of Hormuz alone is going to kill the recovery. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now encountering a place where Alex Jones is actually an intelligent right-wing commentator, like compared to other commentators, because fat slugs like the Quartering, they are literally 100% vibes guys. This is the result of the right wing systematically lobotomizing themselves for decades. Now they are 100% vibe guys. They don't believe in any arguments at all. It's 100% what is the vibe. They are 100%. They have the mentality, I was going to say, of like Mean Girls in high school, but I honestly feel like that's misogynistic because they're way dumber than that. They're way dumber than that. They are like a middle schooler level brain power, like actually stunted mentally, like low, there's not a lot of wattage up there. Well, this is what I mean. Can Iran understand that these tactics of feigned negotiations are just so they can slowly destroy them like a boiling frog? Slow enough they they don't retaliate heavily. Here's the breaking news from a reputable outlet. Yes, of course. Yes, the United States is doing perfidy It is doing fake peace negotiations in order to prevent Iran from engaging in massive retaliation. Like, obviously, like, yes, as I said before, if I were Iran, if I were putting on the Iran cap for a second, I would have gone full spectrum retaliation. I would have gone full spectrum retaliation. I would be setting the deadlines, and I would be saying, unless the United States and Israel do X by X, we're going to do X. Like that. The fact that it's the other way around is why Iran is in trouble, because they're the ones with the leverage, not the United States. So why aren't they but they're not exploiting it. They're just going like, no, we're not going to do peace, and kind of doing these very selective. And the reason why this is happening, chat, is it's regime preservation mentality. They believe that they could extract themselves out of this situation, and the answer is they can't. And that has been true since the United States bombed them the first time. What Iran needs to do is enact such a heavy cost on the world economy that Donald Trump's support collapses. And the only way to get Donald Trump truly under pressure is to crash the stock market. That is the only way. Donald Trump is continuing to attack Iran because the stock market is going sideways through this war. That's why. Because they keep going like, oh yeah, there might be a ceasefire tomorrow. And everybody's like, I want to be in the market on the positive side before the ceasefire announces, because then it's going to have a big pop. That's what the stock market guys, they're not scared. Prudent people are like, well, maybe, there's too much of a risk of the war escalating, so I don't want to buy stocks right now. And but like, there's so much greed in the market right now. They don't have fear. That's the reality. It's not fear. And until fear pervades the market, this war will not end. That is the reality. I don't know what else more to say. Like, okay, well, the CNN Extreme Fear and Greed Index says extreme fear, but barely. And this is what people are buying stocks for, because they're like, oh, it's going to pop back to the 125-day moving average. But where we are now, like, the stock market has basically not moved. Like, it's still up since January. What? Oh, I'm sorry. It's not quite. The moving average is... It's down since January. Sorry, but the stock market is basically where it was last October. Like, that's not a drop. Just check VIX or VX futures. I know, but I think this is like, yes, of course I know. I always talk about the VIX. I understand. VIX is not even that high. 24 is elevated, but it's not like extraordinarily high, right? It's elevated, but it's not. It's danger zone, but it's down because the markets are calming. Because for some reason, they think we're about to have a ceasefire. Iran, if you want leverage over Trump, you have to make these numbers go red, bro. Iran has officially ignored the ceasefire plan. Iran has conveyed its response to U.S. proposal ending the war to Pakistan. This, by the way, chat, is a good link. Why? Phil Stewart, chief national security reporter for Reuters. Reuters is a very reputable news aggregator and journalist provider, I guess. Losing the words. As much as so it's just we're in fantasy land. This is what we're in. We're in fantasy land. And also, like, so if you're Iran, you have to make the stock market go down. That's really it. I mean, it's really just that simple. I don't know what else to say. Donald Trump only cares about the markets. So either the markets go down or you're going to keep getting bombed. U.S. official tells me Iran sent on Monday a 10-point response for the proposal to end the war. The U.S. official said the response was maximalist and unclear if it would allow moving forward to a diplomatic solution. So basically, it's a tug of war between Iran tanking the economy and elites propping it up. It's because we haven't burned through all of the oil facilities, oil resources that are stored. That's it. So we haven't actually got into acute shortage. And part of the reason we haven't got into acute shortage, and this is the main problem Iran has, is that China doesn't want the economy to crash. That's the problem that Iran has. China's like, I don't want the economy to crash, bro. Like, we're just out here like making our people's lives better. We don't want a shortage of oil on the world. Like, this ain't cool. That's the problem that Iran has. China's interest is not for the Strait of Hormuz to be closed. So who is Iran playing to right now? That's the problem that Iran has. And that's why Iran is doing the thing like, hey, if you want to transit the Strait of Hormuz, you got to pay in Chinese currency. because they're trying to make a play to draw China onto their side. They're really like, see, we're going to prop up your global hegemonic ambitions. Please, China, be more ambitious. Please help us. That's why they're doing that. But China's like, we rely on Middle East oil. We don't have any interest in the oil prices going to 200. We're an oil importer. We don't like this. That's why this is not, that's part of the structural reasons why this hasn't happened, because it would also hurt China. And so a lot of people are like, nah, it's not going to happen. China won't let that happen. It's not even really faith in Trump. It's more faith in Xi. Ironically, capitalism is currently being held up by faith in a communist. Morg Pie just posted, don't tell Hasan, do not tell Hasan Piker you're gay. God damn it. How does the US and Israel do whatever the hell it wants, help China in the long term? It's not about the long term. It's about the immediate short term. I'll try to explain it to you this way. Would you be willing to extend the Iran war if it means that you personally are not allowed to buy groceries until it's over? So whatever food you have stored in your house or apartment is what you get to eat until the war is over. Now, what do you think? Now you're suddenly like, well, maybe we shouldn't have the Iran war go on. Maybe it's kind of a bad idea. So now you're kind of understanding the whole, 1.4 billion. Now make that about 1.4 billion people. And now you're starting, okay. Yeah. They're responsible for 1.4 billion people's welfare. They can't just treat this like a paradox game. Oh gosh. Okay. Never mind. I get it now. China is stocked up on oil, but it's bound. I mean, China is doing everything they can to get themselves off oil, but they're still on oil. Like, it is what it is. They're accelerating towards a post-oil future as fast as they can, while they're also trying to raise millions of people out of poverty. They're juggling a lot of really hard problems at the same time. They're not now. If China has complete electrification, is completely independent of the world oil market, they might take a different position. But it's just like, it is what it is. They have an interest in this war ending because they have a 1.4 billion people whose lives rely on them. They're not playing a video game. No problem, because I brought the Mike from PA Prepper food slot bucket. I could last for years. I should make my own Prepper products. I would make such better pepper products than what they actually have. It's insane. I would have a Prepper product, not a pepper product, a Prepper product that would be one size fits all. Like it would just be a Foot Locker, and it would have everything you need. Everything you fucking need. It would have surgical kit, but it would also have appropriate manuals, trauma manuals, survival manuals, and then it would actually have food that doesn't suck shit. It would be such a good Prepper product. And I throw in a gun. Mike picked up a peck of Prepper products. So true. The problem with most products is that they're garbage. It's why I don't like buying things, to be honest with you. Like, it's not that I don't like to buy things. I like nice things. The problem is everything fucking sucks. Like, I was looking for a briefcase for years, and I just gave up because they were all trash. Literally trash. And I was just like, nah. And it would be like the crappy briefcases cost the same as the expensive ones, and the expensive ones were also made of the same materials. And they were all, and I was like, well, this is trash. Fuck this. Gotta thrift that shit. Good point. That's actually a really good point. I will do that next time. Something made 45 years ago might be decent. All right. Have my earbuds been charged yet? It's been an hour. We watch videos now. Cool. All right. Now we can watch videos. Oil tankers are slow and American oil shocks are coming. Yeah, the oil shock is going to affect us.
This is an oil tanker. And the thing to know about an oil tanker is that it's really, really big. Forsock are 3 million barrels of oil.
Connecting. Son of a fucking bitch.
And it weighs more than a skyscraper, all of which makes it slow, 10 or 15 knots. That is typical. Our global energy supply lines move at the speed of a Schwinn. And let me show you on this globe why that's important. If you biked all day, how much of this globe do you think you could cross? Like, maybe the width of the point of this pen.
If Tehran wants to reject the ceasefire proposals, they need to attack Saudi Arabia's oil facilities. Here's what I would do if I were Iran. I would pick probably Bahrain or Qatar, and I would absolutely lay into their oil facilities and absolutely raise them to the ground. I would put every single rocket and drone I could onto one fucking petrochemical facility, and I would absolutely level it. And I would say, you have 24 hours before we do it again. And then I would lay out very reasonable demands. But again, it's not a video game. And at this point, they've bombed for 50 days. So a lot of Iran's actual capabilities have been destroyed. This is a thing that I think a lot of Iran copers don't understand, is that the United States military has in fact destroyed a lot of Iran's capabilities. There's no doubt. Now, Iran has hardened capabilities. They are resilient. They're still generating threats, but they are on the back foot as far as tactically. Strategically, they're doing fine. If anything, they have the upper hand strategically, but they are suffering damage, a lot of expensive damage.
Right? Maybe. You worked really hard. Okay. Now imagine hopping on your 12 speed starting in Dubai. Where's Dubai? Here we go. Starting in Dubai. And now imagine that you have to bike out of Dubai all the way down here, down the coast of Africa, down, across the Cape of Good Hope, back up the other coast of Africa, all the way across the Atlantic, through the Caribbean, before finally arriving at the deepwater oil port in Louisiana. That would take forever on a bike, right? Which, remember, is the speed that these oil tankers go. Like, that is how our oil travels, as if it were on a bike. And maybe you see where I'm going with this. This is a map of global oil flows put together by JP Morgan. Don't worry about all this text, we'll explain it in a minute. These red lines show the oil coming out of the Middle East, going out to the rest of the world. This is the stuff that's been cut off. Here it is back in December before the war. There it goes, the oil is flowing. But remember, it moves at the speed of a bunch of bicycles. So now it's January, and the oil is just finally reaching parts of Asia and Europe. And we're into February before it hits the US, and then it hits refineries in South Korea that then sends it on down these pink lines to Australia and New Zealand. So when the war starts and the oil stops flowing, there's actually still a ton out there, taking its long, lazy little bike ride around the globe. That's a big part of why things seem weirdly normal. For most countries, the oil shutdown has not reached us yet. We're still getting shipments that were sent out before the war started. So when do those shipments stop? If you look at that map again, it says most deliveries to the US will stop around April 15th. In Europe, they stop around April 10th. Asia, April 1st, so it's just getting...
This is actually, last week, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I predicted the land invasion would be April 11th. That is this Saturday. So April 10th to April 11th is when I predicted the invasion to happen, because that's when the oil deliveries are actually going to stop. And so... we will then be in an acute shortage and the markets will start to crash anyway. So Donald Trump could hold up the markets, I think, till this Friday, probably, before it starts getting to the point where it's no longer deniable. And then you're going to have actual resource shortages. They just won't have the oil to sell. So I thought April 11th. Now, that's an extremely specific date. That's also when the Marines are positioned. Right? So Marines from San Diego, Marines from Okinawa will be positioned in a place where they could actually invade. And that'll be enough for the 82nd Airborne and for Delta to have arrived in the Middle East to be fully ready to deploy. Exactly what they're going to invade, I think they may invade off of the Gulf of Oman. I honestly don't even know the point of trying to invade some of these small islands in the Strait. Iran can still attack the Strait from well within its territory. It's not the physical touching of the Strait that closes the Strait. It's the fact that a geographically positioned power is willing to throw weapons at the Strait. Bahrain could close the Strait too. If Bahrain was saying we're going to attack every ship that sails by, they could close it too. And you know, the United States was able to rescue the 3 fighter pilots that were shot down over the weekend, chat, after a long, difficult, grueling land battle that involved the loss of additional aircraft. It seems like they were able to rescue, allegedly, the pilots. Now, that's what's being reported. That being said, multiple aircraft were shot down over the course of the weekend. The Iranian resistance has not been crushed. And it's something I tried to explain to Hasan. He doesn't really know enough about planes, which is fine. My dad was an F-15 fighter pilot. I was raised around this plane. Okay, I flew it at F-15 before I was born. Okay? So I know about this shit. I've been raised around it. Now, I'm not the same thing as an F-15 pilot, but it was my hyperfixation as a child, okay? And I was, you know, it is what it is. Was I conceived of the F-15E? No. It would have been an F-15C. Reports are now coming out that it wasn't an actual rescue. It was actually a failed attempt to seize the nuclear material Iran has. I mean, that's possible. I need to see some rescue people. They're probably hurt. Taking an island allows the U.S. to stage a larger invasion without having to cross the Gulf or stage in Gulf countries. True. They would have to stage in that island, right? I don't get the uranium thing. Isn't it buried under the mountain? Yes. They want to send in special forces to create a forward operating base and then bring in engineers to dig out the uranium from under the mountain and then fly it out. That's the plan. They want to create like a forward operating base in Iran and then like hold it while they slowly dig it out of the mine, out of the mountain. And this is in the middle of Iran. This is not in an island. Please answer. Is it time to first buy necessities? Here's what I would say. There's absolutely nothing wrong with buying staples that last a while, right? Worst case scenario, you just eat them normally, you know? The war ends. You've got a big sack of fucking rice. W for you. You can eat the rice over the course of the next year or two, right? Same thing with beans, right? You can have a big, you know, nice little stockpile of staples, and worst case scenario, you just eat it over the course of the next couple of years. That's the general sense that I have. I'm probably going to go to Costco and grab a couple things this week. Is sending 100 people, multiple planes and choppers into hostile territory normal for the military? No, absolutely. I mean, unless you're fighting a war. I always buy rice, beans, and oats in bulk. Wise. You know, I don't know what else to say. Like, I feel like we're living in a period of pure denialism. I swear to God, chatters, I might need to start banning people. I swear to fucking God. It's America's version of hypernormalization. Being a frugal gym goer sets you up pretty well. True.
Started. But here in parts of Africa, it was March 20th. We're already well into it. And that's even hitting places like the US, where we are still receiving oil from before the war started. Countries whose shipments ran out are creating this big surge in demand. So anytime you go to the pump or pay your power bill, you are bidding against them and they are bidding against you. And all of this is going to get significantly worse when China and Europe start running out of shipments too and surge demand to replace it, which is really close to happening. This is an oil tanker. And the thing to know about an oil tank...
I don't know, like, I mean, basically the US is the one that's running out of time, not Iran, right? The US is the one that's running out of time, not Iran. And I don't know what else to say, like, which I guess makes people believe the US is going to stop fighting Iran, right? Like, that's the logic. The logic is like, yeah, the US, you know, we're not going to be able to fight this war that long, so we're obviously going to end it soon. And they're going to open the strait. Like, that's the logic. I have to say that Americans, you know, it's funny because I'm just old enough to remember the promise of the internet, right? They used to call it the internet, the information superhighway. The information superhighway. We're all going to have access to all this information. It's going to be so easy to learn. We're all going to have so many more skills and so much more knowledge. And it's going to be the free flow of information. We're going to have the information superhighway. And if anything, you motherfuckers have gotten dumber. I'm sure I've gotten dumber too, but compared to the rest of you, I'm fucking doing great. And when I say that is, I lived through the Iraq War. I lived through the 2003 Iraq War. It wasn't that long ago. It fucking went really poorly. And yet, we're doing something that is 5 times more dangerous than the Iraq War, which is attack Iran. We just lost in Afghanistan. And yet, there are tens of millions of people that support this. And it's like, what do you say in the face of reckless stupidity? I could even understand hatred, right? I could understand anger. I can understand fear. I can understand love. But I cannot, for the life of me, understand this level of dumb. Chat, they want to spend $1.5 trillion on the military. I need you to understand this. Donald Trump is seeking $1.5 trillion in defense spending. I want you to understand something, chat, that this is what the Green New Deal would have cost. The Green New Deal is 1.6 trillion per year. I want you guys to understand. We're going to go through the Green New Deal because I want you to understand they're spending Green New Deal, Bernie Sanders' most expansive plans of free college, high-speed rail, net zero, free childcare, raising the minimum wage, fixing our water, no more lead pipes anywhere in America, quality public transit, social and public housing, hardening against climate change, fixing the levees and systems in New Orleans, hardening Miami from rising water, education, healthcare, energy, climate, national parks, teacher pay. I mean, all of that shit, eliminating poverty in America. We could have had that. Instead, we're getting this war in Iran. I don't think you guys understand how much $1.5 trillion is. It was $600 trillion in Trump's first term. This is almost tripling the defense budget since 2019. And I don't think this is computing. I don't think it's computing in people's heads, because if it was computing in your heads, I know what I'm thinking right now. I know what I'm thinking. Where the fuck is the action? You do realize they don't have the money right. It's called debt. I misspoke. What did I misspeak? 1.5 trillion dollars. I don't think people know what 1.5 trillion dollars means. Not 1.5 dollars. Chat, I was looking through food prices at fast food restaurants now, and they are basically the same thing as what a mid-tier sit-down restaurant used to be 5 years ago. Like, not fast casual, like a solid local restaurant, sit-down restaurant. It's like $5 for an apple pie. And not a full pie, like a little apple pie. It's like $50 for a Big Mac, $30 for a pizza. The Easter egg roll.
And I will say that it gets better every time, right? It gets better every time. You notice the fencing is all brand new. I said, we could have bought used fencing and saved a lot of money. They said, this is for Easter, and this is for our egg farmers, and we're going to get new fencing. Everything's new and everything's beautiful, and the White House never looked better, and our country never looked better. So I just want to thank everybody. It's been a special period of time. 1 year ago, a little bit more, our country was dead. We had a dead country. We had an administration that didn't know what the hell they were doing. Today, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're respected by everybody, and that's the way we're going to keep it. That's the way we're going to keep it. So again, I want to thank all of the associations and the egg farmers and all of the people that are here. We think we could have 50,000 people coming all day long. It's open, and they expect between 30 and 50,000 people, so that's great. And most importantly, I want to just say Happy Easter and God bless America. We have the greatest country on earth. God bless you all. You are very, very special people. Thank you, everybody. Have a good time.
Like, I honestly, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, chat. If you like Donald Trump in any way, like, I think you're a subhuman. I really do. I really fucking do. Like, maybe 10 years ago, there were some giggles. He had some sort of fucking jokes he was pulling out. But legitimately, I think if you like this guy, you are high-key a subhuman. Like, you are not really on this. You are not the same species at this point. And maybe that's right-wing sounding, but I don't know what to say. Violence, like, what can you even say to these people? Like, it's not even funny anymore. Also, what the fuck is on these columns? It looks like shit. What the fuck is this? I like it because he's single-handedly taking down the American empire. I fucking hate that cope. I hate that fucking cope. I really hate that fucking cope. I really hate that cope. God damn it, I hate that fucking cope. That cope is so fucking stupid. It's unbelievable how stupid that cope is. God damn, I hate that fucking cope. You lazy sack of shit. Jesus Christ. Such terrible cope. It's like, can you imagine someone saying they like Hitler because he's taking down the German Empire? Think about that. That's literally what you're saying. Except it's 1939. And you're fantasizing about 1945. And it's like tens of millions had to die between point A and point B. Yeah, the American Empire, which has 1,500 nuclear weapons. Yeah, that empire is going to crumble And that's going to be cool for the world. Are you fucking stupid? Donald Trump is very likely to nuke someone. Unironically, I think he's going to shoot a nuke. That's what I'm sitting. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here. My gut is twisting because I think he's going to shoot a fucking nuke. I really do think he's going to do it. Maybe we'll have a military coup instead to stop him. But they're firing all the top generals who think he's a fucking idiot and putting in all these evangelical Christian weirdos. Did you know they denied a Catholic mass at the Pentagon this weekend? They have a chapel and they denied a Catholic mass. You understand how fucking insane that news is? Why? Because the Pope criticized the Iran war. Now, most of you are fucking heathens, so you don't care about religion. Sorry, Chad. This is what Donald Trump is doing all day. This is what Donald Trump is doing all day. I'm sorry, I got lost in it. It was like a fucking liminal space. We were listening to some fucking brass band playing new music.
Well, in war, you need a little. Well, the UK is alone.
Your final. Sir. Sir, is Tuesday your final deadline?
Mr. President, Tuesday your final deadline? How many deadlines are we through now?
How's the airman over? Is Tuesday your final deadline?
Fire proposal from this morning.
I've seen every proposal you can imagine. More proposals.
Is Tuesday your final deadline? Is Tuesday at 8 p.m. your final deadline?
Yeah. If Iran does not meet your demands, Mr. President, are you willing to continue the war?
Well, you'll have to watch.
It's
an easy question. The answer is yes, but you'll have to watch.
What do you think of the latest proposal?
They've made a proposal, and it's a significant proposal. It's a significant step. It's not good enough, but it's a very significant step. They have made, they're negotiating now, and they've made a very significant step. We'll see what happens.
Have you spoken with Keir Starmer, Hasan? Also, do you believe the UK could resurrect like Jesus this Easter weekend?
Well, that's what they need. They have a long way to go. The UK has a long way to go. We don't want another Neville Chamberlain. Do we agree? We don't want Neville Chamberlain.
Mr. President, how is the airman that was rescued doing?
He's doing really well. They're both doing well. It was two, and we held off the one because if they would have known we had him, so we held off the one. They are both recovering.
Like, fix your mix. It's super loud. What the fuck do you want me to do?
What else?
You said that Iran has no anti-aircraft equipment. How are they able to?
Sorry, Chad. I had turned down my earphones, so the mix wasn't as loud to me. Hold on, let me set my shit to like a normal level. This is not my fault. This is.
And you have one plane shot down.
Fox News has terrible audio.
Pilots got out. They got a little bit lucky. And you know what? In war, you need a little bit of luck also. They got a little bit lucky. That's all they got.
Ending the war. What's stopping you from ending the war?
Well, it could end very quickly, the war. They do what they have to do. They have to do certain things. They know that. They've been negotiating, I think, in We've had total regime change. You know, the people there now are much more reasonable than the lunatics that you had in phase 1 and phase 2. They were lunatics. The people that we're negotiating with now on behalf of Iran.
So in reality, they killed all of the like reasonable negotiator types, and now we're all sitting here dying.
Are much more reasonable.
For some reason, you weren't in my homepage, even though I follow you and you're always in my homepage. I don't know, fucking man. It does seem a little bit weird today.
You can call it what you want, but I call it regime change, and I think most people are giving us credit for that. The first regime was taken out, the second regime was taken out. Now the third group of people that we're dealing with is not as radicalized, and we think they're actually much smarter.
Why did you use such vulgar language in that Truth Social post?
Only to make my point. I think you've heard it before.
Mr. President, why did you say praise be to Allah?
Have you spoken to the families of the airmen that were saved?
I'm going to be doing it right now.
Mr. President, what do you say to Americans who are not a fan of the war?
They're foolish, because the war is about one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Had we not broken the Barack Hussein-Obama agreement, you know what I'm talking about, the Iran nuclear deal. This is years ago, my first term. You would have had a total, Israel would have been gone, extinguished. Israel would have been wiped off the face of the earth, and the entire Middle East would have been, at a minimum, in big trouble. But I did it. That was phase 1. We killed Soleimani. Without Soleimani, if they had Soleimani, it would be a whole different thing. Maybe. We'd still be winning, but it would have been harder. Because we are obliterating that country. And I hate to do it, but we're obliterating, and they just don't want to say uncle. They don't want to cry, as the expression goes, uncle, but they will. And if they don't, they'll have no bridges, they'll have no power plants, they'll have no anything. I won't go further because there are other things that are worse than those two. And we might have, well, the thing, if I had my choice, what would I like to do? Take the oil. Because it's there for the taking. There's not a thing they can do about it. Unfortunately, the American people would like to see us come home. If it were up to me, I'd take the oil, I'd keep the oil, and would make plenty of money. And I'd also take care of the people of Iran, much better than they've been taken care of. It's been a horrible. They've killed 45,000 people as of a month and a half ago. 45,000 protesters. We don't do that. So if I had my choice, I'd keep the oil. But I also want to make the people of our country happy. I think most people wouldn't understand that. I'll give you an example. Venezuela has worked out so incredibly. We have 100 million barrels of oil right now in Houston being refined. It's been great. The relationship with Venezuela, the leaders, has been fantastic. And,
wait, so the only thing that changed about Venezuela is Maduro was out. That's it. And I guess they were able to strong arm them to selling the oil. You understand how literally nothing the United States ever says about any country can be relied upon as being accurate? I thought the Venezuelan government was some sort of evil, repressive regime, but now they're great because they're selling oil to the U.S. Nothing changed but that. You got rid of Maduro, and now they're selling oil to the U.S., which they always wanted to do. They actually always wanted to sell oil to the U.S. They just wanted to own their own oil so that they could use the money to build up their own country. Like,
I think we're going to have a long-term, very good relationship.
Mr. President, when you say the American people,
and it might be beyond long-term. You understand?
Mr. President, when you say the American people don't want that, how do you know that? Are you listening to polls?
Well, I tell you what, I'm pretty good at this stuff, and I go around and I check. They'd like to see us win. And
by the way, chat, I guess socialism works now. Why didn't they need a massive bailout like Argentina did? Venezuela's economy grows more than 7% at quarter 4, central bank says. Venezuela's economy grew 7.07% in the fourth quarter from a year earlier. The central bank said on Wednesday, reporting a 19th consecutive quarter of growth, even as analysts estimate far lower expansion and triple-digit inflation. Okay, and like, hold on. Here it is, America's Quarterly. This is the article I wanted. Venezuela's economy is accelerating, but will depend upon. Okay, hold on. We're gonna get this. It's gonna load, chat. It's gonna load, but will depend on. Oh wait, pending reforms will determine whether momentum is sustainable under interim president Delcy Rodriguez. Reforms, by the way. The only reform is They gave a concession to an American oil company to steal their oil, and they gave a concession to that same company to steal their gold. Recent developments in the oil sector explain much of the renewed optimism. Production has risen to more than 1 million barrels per day and expected to keep increasing. Exports to the U.S. have recovered, averaging 329,000 barrels per day in recent months, up 192%. Wow, guys, socialism suddenly figured out how to pump oil. It was overnight. At the political level, interim president Delcy Rodriguez has pursued a strategy aimed at sustaining high output. The appointment of Paula Hanau as hydrocarbons minister reinforces a pragmatic approach focused on operational stability and selective engagement with foreign partners. Foreign currency flows are positive. Wow, it's almost like, wait a minute. It's almost like invading Venezuela and then buying their oil. Suddenly they're able to export more oil. It's almost like being put in an economic blockade is what hurt their economy, not socialism. According to our projections, Venezuela's oil revenues could rise by 77%, reaching the highest level since 2018. You don't say. An early assessment of today's Venezuela suggests the current growth reflects a rebound driven by oil and temporary external factors rather than structural transformations. Countries such as Norway used commodity booms to fuel fiscal buffers. That's what they tried to do, but they're brown. They're not allowed to do the Norway model, you fucking dummy. That's what's so funny about these the neolibs who are like, what do you mean? Why is Venezuela's socialism so failing? It's because when they tried to build off of the Norway model, they got cooed. Because they're brown. That was the Venezuela's plan. They were going to do the Norway model, but then they were cooed because they're brown. You're not allowed to do the Norway model if you're brown.
Come home. And I appreciate CNN for the first time maybe in my life. They did a poll and everyone's saying, oh, is Trump losing MAGA? No, I'm not losing MAGA. MAGA loves what I'm doing. And CNN did a poll of MAGA voters, a big poll, very important poll, Harry. And he went on, he said, this is amazing, 100% support. He said, I've never had a 100% poll at anything before. And it's, do you support Trump, MAGA people, which is, by the way, mostly Republican. And if you look, I would say MAGA makes up a majority, like about 95% of the Republican Party, all right? So they went out, they did a poll, and CNN came back 100% support. So they support what we're doing, but they would like to see it end and come back. But remember, wars last years. We're in there for 34 days, and we've obliterated a very powerful country in 34 days. Yeah, if it were up to me, I'd like to keep the oil. I just don't think the people of the United States would really understand.
45-day ceasefire. 45-day ceasefire. Do you like that?
How is it taking care of the Iranian people if you're bombing?
Yeah, who are you with? Who are you with?
PBS.
Well, that's a radical left group of lunatics that you're with. Let me just tell you, very fair question. The Iranian people, when they don't hear bombs go off, they're upset. They want to hear bombs because they want to be free. And the only reason they're not out protesting, you know that, is because they were informed that if they protest, like the wrestler and his friends, if they protest, they will be shot immediately. And that's an edict, that's in writing. If they protest, if they go out in the streets, they will be immediately shot. They don't have guns. You know, we sent some guns, but the group that was supposed to give, which I said would happen to my people, I said it, I called it exactly. We sent guns, a lot of guns. They were supposed to go to the people so they could fight back against these thugs. You know what happened? The people that they sent them to kept them because they said, what a beautiful gun, I think I'll keep it. So I'm very upset with a certain group of people, and they're going to pay a big price for that. But the Iranian people will fight back as soon as they know they're not going to be shot and as soon as they can get weapons. If they had weapons, not many of them, if they had weapons that would go in the other way, and you know what would happen? Iran would give up in 2 seconds because they wouldn't be able to take it. But in Iran, they have absolutely no weaponry, and they've been told point blank, if you come out to the streets, you will be killed. As of this morning, and we have this on pretty good information, 45,000 protesters have been killed. Pretty bad.
Mr. President, are you on board with the 45-day ceasefire?
You said Iran has been obliterated. Why are we still out doing that?
It's a big country. They can't fight back. They have no capability. And me. They have some missiles left. They have some drones left, but essentially they have no capability. They had a lucky shot with an airplane, but we got them back out. The rescue was incredible. And it wasn't of one person, it was of two-person. There are those that say that's never happened before, because usually when you're shot down in strong enemy and deep enemy territory, you can't go after them because you'll end up losing 250 people to get one. So it's a terrible thing. But we had to make a decision. Do we do it or do we not? And we did. And, you know, we have some helicopters with a lot of bullet holes in them right now. Probably you know that. Now, I'm very honored to have rebuilt our military. We rebuilt our military in my first term. I'm using it in our second term. And we are the most respected country anywhere in the world with the greatest military anywhere in the world. Thank you. So we have a news conference. You'll all be there, so you can ask the question in a little while. We have a news conference in a little while. What would you like to ask her?
What she wants to say, Madam First Lady, can you tell us your lessons to children who find themselves in the
Well, all of this is happening for their future, so they will be safe in years to come.
We're fighting for children that are now in a war zone. We're keeping them as safe as we can possibly keep them. But we're fighting for their parents, their grandparents. We're fighting for them. We're fighting for their future. And I will tell you, it was given to me loud and clear. The time the Iranian people are the most unhappy when you hear bombs all over is when those bombs stop. That's the problem. It's when they stop, because that means that, are they coming back? We want to have them back. And, you know, everybody knows it. Everybody sees it. So hopefully it could be over with quickly. Again, there are lots of different alternatives. We have many alternatives. We could leave right now, and it would take them 15 years to rebuild what they have. We could leave right now. But I want to finish it up. Iran, ready, cannot have a nuclear weapon. They are lunatics. And you can't put nuclear weapons in the hands of a lunatic. Thank you very much.
It's so funny not being able to stream from the White House. America's infrastructure is so poor, you can't even stream from the White House. Like, think about that. Look how bad. Think about how fucking much of a shithole this country is. 1.5 trillion on the Pentagon, by the way. Most of it's stolen. Trump is holding a rendering of the arch he wants to build at DC during the White House Easter egg roll. If you are going to be a leader of this, like, of whatever comes after Trump, and you don't say we're going to rip his name off of every single thing that has government money spent on it, then I don't want to vote for you. Like, we need to make sure that it is a clear promise that you're not allowed to have Donald Trump's name on a fucking building and get federal money. Get this shit out of here. Okay, was that it? Now is just Donald Trump being creepy around children for another hour?
Yeah, I'm gonna have them take a
The Secret Service is so fucking cringe, bro. Can I just say how cringe they are? God, the Secret Service is so fucking cringe, so self-important. America's Praetorian Guards are so fucking cringe, dude. They think they're so fucking cool. Can you imagine being like, oh yeah, guys, I'm gonna be a bodyguard and I'm gonna throw myself in front of the bullet to save Donald Trump's life. So I want to show you something, chat. Zohran Mamdani has just passed 100 days in office. He's just passed 100 days in office. And this is the article that is being published in the New York Times. Why so much of New York loves Mamdani. Okay? This is 100 days in office. For Zohran Mamdani, it's been a pretty steady start. A Siena poll in late January found that the mayor had the approval of 68% of New York City. Almost 18 percentage points more than he got in November election, and good enough for a net approval of plus 48. So, Zohran Mamdani, popular as hell. Why is Zohran Mamdani popular as hell? By the way, Democrats and Republican establishment have tried to slander him nonstop. They're doing it right now over a budget fight where the centrists did a bunch of basically accounting chicanery in order to avoid having to tax the rich. And they're basically creating a situation that's going to destroy New York's fiscal ratings by refusing to properly value the income and the expenses of the city. Mike, the stock guy, is butchering a surface level economic understanding of socialism and trade to 100K people on Twitch's front page. Yeah, he's not very bright. He's not very bright.
Calling 311, this is Mayor Mamdani. How can I help you?
It's great working with 311. We're here to help, take complaints, look up certain resources for them, about apartment maintenance, noise complaints, potholes. There's a wide variety. I'm Tangi Williams, and I work with 311 as a call center representative.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm Tangi Williams.
Oh, such a pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
I've heard so much about you.
Thank you.
You ready to take these calls?
Yes, yes.
She'll navigate and help you with everything.
Perfect. I'll listen to one or two and then we'll get started.
Okay. Thank you for calling 311. My name is Tangi. How may I assist you?
Stock guy is basically, what's so funny about the stock guy is he's such a fucking, like, the entire premise of his show is I tell people to buy index funds, diversified index funds. The advice that you need for investing, you can get in a single sheet of paper. A single sheet of paper can give you the best investing advice. And let me tell you something, it's boring. So what the fuck is the show about? It's about doing all the gambling that no one wins at unless you're the fucking Mercers and you have you could front run every trade because you have servers that read all the incoming bids and then front run them to shave a cent off of every trade. So who the fuck are you beating? He was on the front page going off about how we're not at all close to a housing market crash. It's not going to happen. Everybody, okay, what's happening? First of all, the economy is very shaky right now. And if it actually implodes, people are not going to be able to pay their mortgages. That's number one. Two, a lot of people are sitting with golden handcuffs. They own a house, they refinanced it at 2.75% during COVID, and they can't move. We have a frozen housing market because if you sell your house, you immediately, unless you have enough cash to buy your new house outright, you're going to have to double your interest rate or more, and you'll go from paying $1,800 a month to $3,500 a month. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Median house price. Median house price right now, okay, not in Los Angeles, what the fuck, is, let's go 500,000 because that's the new home. New home average price. Okay, hold on, let's do this. Oh, so you can see, by the way, housing prices are declining already. They were at 442,000 back in Q4 of 2022. They've actually declined to 405. So we've seen 5% decline. Oh, I'm sorry, 10% decline in housing prices since the peak already. Wow, that's crazy. But why is that? Why are we seeing housing price declines? We're seeing housing price declines because, all right, let's just do this. This will be fine. Right now, if you get let's do a standard loan, 20% down, right? That's $2,500 a month. If, let's do 15,213, that's Pittsburgh, okay? It was what, 2.75%? So people are literally would have to, even if they just sold their house and bought the median house, the interest rates have caused payments to go up, what, like 40%? So people have golden handcuffs. And if you're in a city like LA and you have $1 million, you try to buy $1 million house, which I think is the median, which we could do 90210. So you would have a house, $1 million house, you'd have a 46.24 monthly payment if you got interest rates back in 2021, right? But if you look at today's interest rates, what was it? 6.5%. Now it's 6,000. So you went from 4,000 to 6,000, and the only thing that changed is the interest rate. So we have golden handcuffs, chat. 50% higher mortgage payment every month for the same house, same amount borrowed, same house, everything the same except interest rates. So that's why we have golden handcuffs. That's why what we're seeing is a lot less transactions happening because people, so I don't know about you, but 4,000 a month is a lot more affordable than 6,000 a month. 25% of all homes in coastal California are acquired via an inheritance. Yeah, we are literally in an era of waiting around till boomers die. That's the millennial generation. Waiting around until the boomers die. That's fucking crazy that we now live. The American dream, inherit it. And I just want to point out that most of these boomers that have these homes, they're not like some sort of amazing like tech innovator or programmer or doctor or some sort of like really specialized. There are normal fucking ass boomers with normal ass jobs, and they bought their house for $70K. They're a fucking mailman. Nothing wrong with being a mailman, by the way. That's a based fucking job. I'm just saying that they're now multimillionaires because housing construction and housing supply has been so constrained for so long, and all the jobs everywhere else in the country have been hollowed out, so people were forced to move to a couple large cities in America. Almost all of America's medium-sized cities basically lost most of their jobs. So there's only a few cities in America that had their heads above water where you to get a decent job. So people have been flowing toward these cities. And if you were there early, you're now a multimillionaire because you bought a house. Real estate market analysts specifically calling out Philly suburbs as a hot seller's market. Yeah, well, no shit, because it's one of the few places where people can afford to live off of middle-class salary. So people are flowing there. Philly, Pittsburgh, Chicago are the last places where you could actually have access to the American dream on a middle-class salary. Oh yeah, and then be close to a city. Anyway, let's get back to what I was saying. So, Zohran Mamdani, popularity surging.
Welcome to 311.
30 minutes.
Yes.
I thought we were just doing a training call. I want to take one now.
All right. Okay.
Hello, this is 311. My name is Zohran. How can I help you?
As a Zoomer, one of my friends' parents told them they're going to sell their house and blow their money traveling before they die, so they're not getting shit. I mean, honestly, you should ask if your boomer parents have $1 million house, they should be giving you like, listen, I'm not saying this is fair or good. I'm just saying if you went to college, if you've got a good job and your parents have a windfall from having $1 million home and they're not helping you get into a home in this market, they don't love you and you probably shouldn't talk to them. I'm being completely honest. If they would rather spend all their money having fun, honestly, instead of helping you out, you probably shouldn't be friends with them. Probably shouldn't be friendly with them. You probably shouldn't be treating them like they love you, because they fucking don't. Like, that's the reality, bro. And the other thing I want you to understand is boomers got a lot of help from the government. They were able to buy homes for cheap. When they were your age, they were buying a house. My girlfriend and I are trying to move out of my parents' place in New Jersey, and rent is crazy. Saw multiple places for 1.6K for a little shed, and all the affordable places are 55 plus communities. Yeah, it's true. The median age of all U.S. home buyers is now 59 years old. This is a society that is going to die, by the way. If you want to know why that fertility rates are crashing, this is why. Because how are you going to start a family when you can't afford a home? If you can't put down roots, how are you going to have a kid? Children need stability. They need community support. If you can't set down roots, you're not going to have kids. Period. So the median age, meaning the age of the middle home buyer. If you lined up every single home buyer in America and you said, what's the middle person? They're 59, which means half of the people that buy houses in America are older than 59 years old. Just to put a fine point on it, what percentage of U.S. population is over 59? So only a quarter of U.S. population is over 59, and they're buying all the houses. The average age of a first-time home buyer is like 40 now, which is funny. I'm 40. I never bought a house. 40 years old. I could probably swing it for the first time in my life. If I really wanted to, I could probably swing it. So that's first-time home buyer share falls to historic low of 21%. Median age rises to 40%. That means only 21% of houses sold are going to first-time home buyers. So 3/4, a little bit. Okay, it's around 4/5, 3/4 of home buyers already own a home. Up-and-coming Philly pundit writes New York Times article. This is correct, by the way. Democrats to make a unique promise to Americans going to the midterms. If you vote for the Democrats, work hard and pay taxes, the government will help you buy your first home by the time you are 30. This is a very good take. Very good idea. Although I don't personally think this is what I would consider center-left. I think we need to break out of this paradigm. I honest to God think we need to break out of this paradigm. We need permanently affordable social housing that's high quality that everybody wants to live in. And we're not going to catch up by doing this like private single family home construction shit. Just not gonna happen. We have to get the like speculation and the profit out of housing. Like American society is fucking toast, dude. It's just scam, you know, on top of scam. I don't think there's a society that you should be less optimistic about than the United States, because there is literally no reason to. It's griftopia. And it's not because I don't wish, I wish it weren't the case, but it's nihilism, it's gambling, it's greed, it's grifts. What the fuck do we make?
I see that you're calling about an abandoned vehicle. So is this on public property or private property, sir? You just give me one moment. I'm going to put you on a brief hold. He said no plates.
Trash inside.
Yeah, trash inside.
So then he'll just give.
My dad, who is a millionaire, read a book about dying with zero a few years ago, and he's been spending spree ever since. If you don't fly first class, your kids will. I mean, if I were you, obviously, I mean, my reaction to that would be, you should, again, parents have the obligation to set their children up because they brought them into the world. They have the obligation to help them live a dignified and happy life because it was your decision to bring that person into the world. So you have a special obligation to them. You brought them into this vale of tears. So it's your responsibility to care for them. It's that fucking simple, man.
What's the address? And we just don't thank you for holding.
Aren't parents supposed to want their kids to live better? Up until the boomers, that was the way people worked. But I guess they didn't get, I think the lead in their brains kind of blocked the like maternal paternal instinct and the microplastics.
I hear you, sir. I appreciate that. We're going to follow up on this one, and I know someone who I think can resolve this for you. Okay. Thank you very much.
People will call and access anything. The ones that tug at my heart, where an elderly person needed help on getting things fixed in her home and her management wasn't doing anything. She was by herself, didn't have any family. And I was able to assist them and let them vent and talk it through. That puts a smile on my face that I was able to help them.
Thank you for calling 311. This is Mayor Mamdani. How can I help you? This is the mayor. Let me just check. You said you have a mirror. It's not too big, it's not too small, and you're asking whether you can put that out for a recycling day. She didn't even blink.
No.
She's like, I have a question.
So there's many ways they could find out about 311 resources. Text, online, and over the phone with a representative, a live person, if you're not tech savvy, to do it online.
So we are submitting this to the Taxi and Limousine Commission as a complaint. Do you have a pen and a paper so I can give you the complaint number? You're very welcome. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Okay.
I have a neoliberal friend that says removing zoning restrictions would solve the housing crisis, so there would no need for social housing. Your neoliberal friend, the problem that they're suffering from is that they don't, their religious belief in the market doesn't correspond with measurable reality. See, one of the things about being a leftist is you have to be an empiricist. And a lot of neoliberal economics is religious. They have a fundamental belief in the market, and it's an absolutism. And it doesn't, and they never measure it against empirical reality. And so, you know, my first thing would be to say, hey, I need you to stop identifying with an ideology and start identifying with reality. And start talking about the fact that zoning is only a small part of the process of constructing housing. And if you don't understand that, you are a baby. Now, it's not to say that there aren't governmental impositions that are making housing harder to build. That's absolutely true. One of those government impositions is forcing us to use private financing. Like setting up a society where we have to use private financing to build a home is setting us up to build less, because private financing costs more than government financing. If the government finances something, there's a lot less financing cost. So get Wall Street out of building housing, and we will see more housing built. There's a big push in Ohio to remove property taxes, and so many rural voters are for it. There's no plan in place to make up the lost revenue. Governor has floated increasing sales tax. Fully automated luxury communism for boomers.
That was great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We got to go figure out about Tony's car. We got to get that black BMW taken away.
Yes.
Hell yeah, thank you for the explanation. You're welcome. I mean, the reality, and we've talked about the social housing in Vienna. Like, I only care about housing markets that are working. I don't care about your theoretical beliefs. I'm talking about show me the place where the housing market has been solved through Zoning reform only. I don't mean prices have gone down some. I'm talking about the housing crisis has been solved. Everybody is housed. And there isn't such a place. Newsflash. Meanwhile, okay, so Zohran Mamdani is being loved by New York. He was set up as an alternative. The alternative to Mamdani was centrist CIA agent Abigail Spanberger. Abigail Spanberger was the alternative. How's that going? Virginians deeply divided on Spanberger months after her landslide win. A Washington Post Char poll finds Virginia voters are highly polarized over Governor Abigail Spanberger, who ran as a unifying centrist. Let's go ahead and make a fun little tweet here, chat. This is how you troll people. Are you ready for the post? Here it is.
We go over here and we do this. Copy that over here.
Where the fuck was? Oh fuck! I have too many Twitter tabs. Okay, there you go.
And then you go and you get an emoji and you just go.
Which emoji, guys, should we use? Face with peeking eye, laughing face, skull, horny smile, smiling face with horns, the horny smile, yawning face, thinking face. I kind of like thinking face. This is the smuggest, I think. Oh, we could do a double emoji. This is the most, I'm getting the most millennial post I can come up with. Thinking and then laughing like this. Oh, smug face, yes, smug. The smug smile. Where the fuck is the smug smile? Or kiss. Smile. Is it like slight smile? What is it called? Smirk? Is it called smirk? Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. We're not doing drool mouth eggplant. We're not a Hasan hater talking about Hasan, okay? Although, why is it cutting off the V in Virginians? Like, what the fuck? I guess that's my fault. I should have. That's my fault for bad screenshot. God damn it. Whatever. It's fine. Oh, you should show Hasan's tweet. Yeah, I don't know, man. I tried to get Hasan to like say how important he is in the narratives. There's two parts. One, this is what you guys don't understand. This is the reason why I defend Hasan is because I actually understand the internet and you don't. And I say that with as much humility as I can. I understand it better than the average chatter, okay? You guys don't get that Hasan has a lot of motion and other left-wing people don't. The only people with any kind of left-wing motion that are left-wing, honestly, that are individuals, like honestly, it's on one hand. It's on one hand, anybody who actually has motion. Maybe Kyle, but Kyle doesn't have even an iota of the motion that Hasan does. Breaking Points, you know, Ryan Grimm, all those institutions are great, but they have barely any motion compared to Hasan. The amount of motion Hasan has is orders of magnitude greater than any other solitary left-wing commentator. And it's not even close. Yes, we know you're an opportunist. I'm an opportunist by knowing that Hasan has more motion. How does that make me an opportunist? How is defending Hasan, the left-wing creator who agrees with me on almost everything, opportunism? I've tried talking to my dad about affordability. He believes the whole pull yourself up by the bootstraps things. I asked him, how are you supposed to do that when you don't have boots to begin with? That just didn't click with him because he is the winner. He bought a house for $70K. You have to understand something about people. This is something I learned early on in my career, which is if people contribute at all, no matter how slight, they think they deserve it. So for example, if a baby boomer paid any tuition at all, they think they, quote, paid for their college. All right. If somebody pays any taxes at all, even if they go through the process of filing a tax return, but it ends up that they don't pay taxes, they get a refund. People who have negative taxes on the year think they, quote, paid their taxes because they file a return. People they just think like if they do anything, if they contribute anything, however slight, they think they did it themselves. And you just have to accept that. You just have to accept that. No matter how much you try to push back, then all that you're going to get is them mad. They will never, ever accept that they got a lot of help. If they do anything at all, they contributed to earning it. Because they're very ego, like the narcissism in America is underdiagnosed. I actually think the majority of people are narcissists, to be honest with you. Doesn't mean narcissists are all bad. I just think it's underdiagnosed. Anyway, so at this point I've given up on fighting it. And what I've realized is if you want people to support us, we have to just change the numbers behind the scenes, right? Like if you talk to a boomer about college tuition, they'll be like, I paid for it. I earned it. And then you go and look it up. I did this thing about Charlie Sykes. I did this years ago where Charlie Sykes, who's a never Trump Republican on MSNBC, was talking about how he paid for his own college or something. And he went to the University of Wisconsin. And I went and looked up his tuition for that year. And it was like $700 or something. And like we looked at inflation adjusted, like the tuition has got up like 300% or something. And so anyway, the point is that I'm trying to make is tuition, like if boomers think they pay for their own shit, even if they didn't. So let's stop fighting that. Let's start using the same kind of logic against the boomers. Have you seen the old Economy Steve memes? I'm sure it lines up with exactly what I've been saying for years. The thing about being a streamer is because I'm talking so long, I say so much, it's not necessarily as clippable as somebody who's trying to make a short-term video, right? Oh, here we go. Old Economy Steve, the official meme for embittered millennials. I wonder if this is from 2013. Graduates from college, gets hired. At my first job, I only made $15K a year. And then 1979, that was equivalent to $47K. Got my dream job by responding to a classified ad. Graduates college, didn't move back in with parents. Followed American dream, did not wake up. I mean, this is like old ass. This is like old shit. This is old shit. Bought a house in his 20s with a 9-to-5 job that did require a bachelor's degree. Kids these days have it easy. And that's why I engage in generational warfare. I engage in generational warfare because there's a lot of leftists who go and they say to me, Mike, we shouldn't do generational warfare. It's all about class. And that's exactly right. There's a class divide between the generations. Boomers got access. They're petite bourgeois. The millennials are proletarianized. There is a class divide between millennials, Gen Z, and their parents. And I'm sorry, it's down, you know, in the generations. And it's not to say that every single boomer is petite bourgeois, but boomers are overwhelmingly much higher, much more likely to be petite bourgeois. So we have these kind of conversations in the culture on generational lines because you could see it in the evidence that millennials have a different social contract than boomers do. That's just reality. Now, if you're a boomer in here and you're like, Mike, I'm with you 100% and I'm a renter and I'm this and I'm that, I love you. I want to help you. I'm not against you. I'm just saying that most of your boomer friends, they're petite bourgeois. Gen X, by the way, Gen X is just the same thing as boomers, by the way. They had the social contract didn't end until millennials. Gen X got the same deal as boomers did, right? Like they got the same deal as boomers did for the most part, maybe slightly worse. But for the most part, they were able to buy houses relatively young. The tuition wasn't that bad. Boomers are where Gen X is where they started to fuck with things, but it wasn't implemented until millennials. So some Gen X, you know, Gen X, that's why Gen X is the most conservative generation. Now, it's not to say that every Gen X is like that. I want you to understand something, Chad. You can't say don't do generational warfare and then identify with your generation. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to say not all Gen X. Just don't say not all Gen X or not all boomers, just like you wouldn't say not all men, okay? Understand that you being better is the exception, not the rule. It's actually a compliment to you as an individual. If you're a Gen X and you're like, fuck that shit, I ain't with those conservative Gen X, that's me complimenting you. You're smarter than them. You avoided the lead poisoning somehow. It's not an insult on you. Don't identify with the generation that doesn't identify with you. What do I mean by petite bourgeois? Genuine question. Petite bourgeois are small landowners. They are small business owners. Basically people that own businesses and own capital, but they typically are engaged in like artisanal work or small scale production or small businesses. So they don't represent like massive accumulations of capital. That's what I mean by it. Okay. So, you know, technically you could say Mike from PA and Hasan are petite bourgeois because we own our streaming company, right? So I own my own production. I own the production. Now I don't own everything. I have to engage with a business relationship with Twitch So Twitch exploits me in a pseudo employment relationship. So I'm still exploited, but I do own my own company, right? So I'm still in an exploitative relationship with Amazon and Google, right? But I still technically am an owner. I don't have a direct boss. Although I have, again, a pseudo employment relationship with Amazon. So I'm still being exploited, but I'm being exploited by Amazon, right? You're like a small farmer who rents their land. It's more like I'm a small farmer who owns my land, but I have to sell my production to a lord. So technically I own my own land and I own my own production, but I have to sell it to a very specific lord. So I am, you know, I'm a digital peasant. I'm a rich digital peasant. That's basically it. That's the best analogy. Lord Bezos, he gets to collect taxes on me. I'm a cloud serf. Exactly. I'm a wealthy cloud serf. We're all cloud serfs, but I'm one of the better off cloud serfs. I'm a digital kulak. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. If you were Gen X, you would be left to fend for yourself and had to learn how to adult on your own. True. I'm a 1099 contractor for Amazon. Exactly. But that's a pseudo employment relationship. Like they exercise power over me, right? Like they are controlling what I'm allowed to say or do. Like I can't stand up here and show you my butthole because Amazon will ban me. I can't say certain things because Amazon will ban me. So they are controlling me, right? So I don't have freedom here. I have to operate within a set of standards that Amazon has. Show hole. Oh no, I shouldn't have even said that as a joke. Oh no. Now the chatters are gonna spam show hole, free the hole. Oh no. Anyway, long story short, we're fucked. Who are the knights and samurai in your situation who come to pressure you for your digital grain? It's called capitalism, bro. Hasan was a topic of Frocks and Friends? Oh, hell yeah. Deb doubles down after appearance with anti-Semitic streamer? By the way, chat, do you see how there is a uniparty and Fox News is part of it? And that the faux populist right. Holy shit.
California Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna defending his podcast appearance with controversial internet personality and anti-Israel commentator Hasan Piker, who has tried to justify the deadly October 7th attacks. Listen.
By the way, people have tried to say to me, Mike, why are you defending? People are so fucking stupid. Like, people call themselves Marxists and Leninists. By the way, I'm not saying that Hasan is a historical figure on this level of Marx or Lenin. But the point is, individuals are the receptacle by which informational ideas are transmitted. People don't call themselves dialectical materialists. They call themselves Marxists. Why do they call themselves Marxists? Because Marx was a thinker that helped develop that historical method, right? So they go after Hasan in order to get people not to listen to his ideas. And trying to be a leftist who doesn't understand that is fucking cringe. Shut the fuck up. You're so fucking cringe. Shut your fucking mouth. You're such a loser. Why are you defending Hasan? We should just talk about the ideas. Yeah, they're attacking Hasan's ideas, dummy. They're trying to slander him personally. So people don't listen to him because he has the floor. That's what you don't understand. He has millions of followers, so he has the floor. So what? He gets the opportunity to say the good ideas that we agree on. If he's gone, we don't get the floor. It goes to someone else. Next in line, next big platform. That's what people don't get. That's why I defend Hasan, because he has the floor. And if he goes away, I'm not going to get it. You're not going to get it. It's not going to go to, there's no rule that says left winger has to be popular. There's no rule saying that we're going to get fair shake. We have a popular left winger. He's our left winger. If he goes away, he just goes away. There's no replacement that instantly gets elevated to replace him. It's whoever randomly is brought up. That's the reality. That's why I defend AOC as well. If AOC goes away, there's no other person that's going to take her place. There's no guarantee we're going to have a prominent, popular left-wing politician. If AOC goes away, we don't get a guaranteed replacement. We just lose AOC and we have less prominent left-wingers. That's all that happens. People think there's some sort of like algorithmic fairness or something. That's not true. If Hasan goes away, I get weaker. You get weaker. Everyone who agrees with Hasan gets weaker. Maybe there will be some temporary readjustment where some of Hasan's people will come and find me or Kyle or whatever. But that's just a net loss. Maybe in the immediate short term, I would be benefited by Hasan going away. But guess what? In the long term, I'm sorry, he's more appealing than me. There's a variety of reasons for why that is. I honestly don't give a shit. I don't care if Hasan is intuitively more appealing to people. That's good. That's a good thing. I will use that for what I believe is the right thing, which is pushing these ideas. And Hasan likes me. So that, yes, there absolutely is I like Hasan because he likes me. That's true. That's absolutely true. It's called a relationship. We like each other, so therefore our friendship results in us defending each other. That's what friends are for. Friends are not there to stand next to you in the good times and walk away in the bad. I defend him because it's necessary for my politics to go better. It's just that simple. And I'm telling you this because some of you are autistic and you need to be explained this shit straight up. I need to break it down as simply as possible because you get tricked by dumb ideas. You get tricked into, well, we shouldn't really care about personalities. We should only care about the ideas. That's a psyop. Here's me 6 years ago.
That's why he's not taken seriously by anybody in politics.
Talk about Destiny.
Because he takes evil, indefensible positions for the memes. He doesn't care about the lives of the people around him or the society that's being built and the struggles of real people. That's why somebody like Hasan will forever be bigger than Destiny. Because Hasan is an authentic human being with real views and real passion and sometimes makes mistakes, but and that's why he's going to be bigger and always will be bigger, even though he's streamed approximately 10% of the time Destiny has. That's why, okay? That's why Hasan will go on Bernie's official podcast. That's why Hasan will be reported to, even though Hasan had a bad optics moment with 821. That's why he will always be taken care of and be beloved by people all over the world, right? That's why. Okay.
Damn, look at that prediction, by the way. 6 years ago holds up really well. Damn, I was totally fucking right. And I was even mentioning that America deserved 9/11, and I said it was a bad optics moment. God damn, it's almost like I was right. Did you see Sarah Longwell as a Sex Pestities fan? Socialist commies who will never support anyone who's electable. That's why it's better to turn out your base and appeal to the moderate elements of your base. Something most voters prefer anyway. They don't know what moderate means. The problem that we have is people don't know what moderate means. Democrats were so cowardly, they wouldn't even defend the term liberal for years. So people who are strong left-wing people called themselves moderate. And this is something that I've talked about so many times that it's actually... The fact that Destiny doesn't even acknowledge this has been proven wrong. He means he's a bad faith liar. And this is one of the things about Destiny. He's stupid. He's actually stupid. Like, he is a stupid asshole who can't even come up with new arguments. Here you go. Here's a tweet I posted. Voters are center right and they buy that policy set from both parties. The voters of those parties don't agree. Most people have no idea what ideological category they are in. Moderates aren't moderate. Here is a study of self-identified moderate people. Okay? Now it's tilted on an axis because it comes from 538 and they're fucking annoying. Okay? And they don't want to make it very clear. But this right here is left-wing economically and left-wing socially. This is right-wing economically and right-wing socially. This is right-wing economically and left-wing socially, and this is left-wing economically and right-wing socially. Okay, does that make sense? Notice how there's nobody in, this is the libertarian section, this is the authoritarian right section, this is the what we call smokestack left, basically people that are very economically left-wing, but they hold, like weird positions on abortion or religion or, immigration, right? And this is the left. Right? This is the left. Notice that people who self-identify as moderate are overwhelmingly left-wing economically, and no one is a fucking libertarian. Wow, it's almost like going left-wing is going economically is going to get you the vast majority of people who identify as moderate. Holy shit! It's almost like 70% of people are left-wing economically. Wow, it's so hard to win elections. How do we win elections? I have one libertarian friend who thinks he's brilliant. Libertarians largely don't exist. They're about 1% of the population. And they split 50-50, by the way. So it does, as far as which party they vote for. So it doesn't even matter. Or maybe 60-40 Republican. They don't even matter. They don't matter. They're an irrelevant group. They're an irrelevant group. We're talking about literally hundreds of people. They honestly do not fucking matter. So I was making fun of Destiny. Sorry, chat. Where's the Destiny? Where's the Destiny post? Oh yeah, this guy posts about Destiny more than me. Like, that's crazy. It's his obsession with Hasan is fucking insane. It's crazy. Hasan and I work on political issues together and candidates. This guy is sitting there and he's obsessing over Hasan for fucking decade now. Dude, Destiny, just do it, man. You have a son.
Amount of fucked up behavior from Israel, which they have engaged in over the past year, is going to change my perspective on the beginning of the war. But all these people have had that perspective literally since have had that perspective since day one.
Sure, but I think that's like the main contention. Like, I think people think that you don't think it was that bad, and they think it's a lot worse.
No, they think that it was immoral from day one. That's what these people think, guaranteed. So unless I take the same position that it was immoral from day one, they would never find agreement with me. Because I've already said this over and over again. I don't know.
We fucking own you, bitch! We fucking own you, bitch! We own you! You were saying I am pro-ethnic cleansing. You just said it last week. We fucking own you. We're gonna keep owning you. We're gonna keep owning you. Just become a Republican, man. Just become a Republican. Like, we have to go through this rigmarole of waiting for him to become a Republican. He'll be a Republican by 2028, guaranteed. We have to go through another year of listening to him pretending to be a Democrat. And then we have to listen to a year of him going, why I left the left. It's so fucking boring. I can see this little cretin go back to being a fascist like you always were. God. His new narrative is that he was supportive of the initial cause, but other than that, he has been against a lot of their actions. He's also been cleaning up his YouTube. We fucking own you. Holy shit. Destiny, I fucking own you. Holy fuck, I own you. Holy shit. That's so funny. Streamer Destiny has now tweeted and retweeted about Hasan Piker over 100 times in the last 2 weeks alone. He previously claimed Hasan was the one obsessed with him. By the way, chat, notice who he's retweeting? Notice that he's getting boosted. Adam Panada is getting boosted by Destiny. Adam Panada, you are truly the most pathetic fucking worm. Holy shit. You are a pathetic fucking worm. Here's Destiny reposting Adam Panada and Nazis, Nazi pedophiles. His entire, every single thing he does is literally just obsessively trying to boost any negative post about Hasan. This is why you have to defend Hasan, because there are cult members who are focused on just destroying Hasan. You stupid fucks. Adam Panada on Reaction Pod, he's literally trying to get his community to attack the podcast. What a fucking loser, dude. Holy shit. All right, can we get back to talking about important shit? These people are fucking losers, man. Holy fucking Christ. I forgot if it was Fox or MSNBC, but one of the articles about Roe and Hasan said they reached out to the White House for comment. Why did they reach out to the White House and not Chuck Schumer? Clearly a coordinated smear from Dem establishment and Third Way. The Dem establishment is just the Republican Party. This is the thing that really cooks people's brains, and they don't want to accept it. There is no resistance to Trump. The Democratic establishment, the DC Democrats, have the same donors as Trump.
Do you have any regrets about appearing on his show?
None, and I would go again. But I, of course, condemn those comments. The lesson of the last election is we've got to be out there. We've got to engage. It's a complex, messy, multiracial democracy. I will defend my views, but the people who are saying don't engage will cost us future elections.
Joining us now is senior writer for the Washington Examiner and Fox News contributor Joe Concha. Joe, good morning to you. Tell us a little bit more about Hasan Piker, what he said in the past, so people at home can make their own determination on if this congressman should have been on this podcast.
Thanks, Carly. I mean, I wrote it on X. I'll say it here on national television. This is pathetic. This is absolutely pathetic from Congressman Ro Khanna. First, to answer your question, he made the argument that joining Hasan Piker on his podcast is equivalent to joining Joe Rogan. At last check, Rogan, unlike Hasan Piker, didn't call Jews inbreds. It is Piker who said that America deserved 9/11. Nearly 3,000 people died on that day. This is the same Hasan Piker who said it doesn't matter to him if rapes occurred during the October 7th attacks, 2023. This is a guy who's called his critics, quote, rabid ultra-Zionist pigs. He also called on Republicans to kill Senator Rick Scott. And Ro Khanna told Meet the Press yesterday, as you just played, he has no regrets going on a show like that and would happily do it again. Why? Because Piker has 2.8 million followers, mostly young men. Is Ro Khanna and Democrats really that desperate for votes that they'll cater to the anti-Semitic wing of the Democratic Party, which is a real thing, and it's a disturbing epidemic that is going on the far left in the year 2026. But Khanna said, hey, I'll be happy to go back. You don't give somebody like Hasan Piker this kind of attention, this kind of platform. It only rewards the kind of rhetoric that I just described. And I thought that he was smarter than this. I thought he was more towards the center. He's clearly proving that he is not.
Joe, he literally says, I'm doing this for the votes, so this doesn't cost us future elections. Yeah. It does.
So you have to understand that the Fox News and the Democratic establishment work in cahoots. I want you to understand that what they try to do is raise the negatives of left-wing people through Fox News. This is kind of a three-dimensional chess move they do that's actually really effective, and I kind of hate it, but I'm going to explain it. What they do is they take popular left-wing people that are rising through the grassroots of online or in online spaces, and they take them to establishment right-wing spaces like Fox News, and they hammer on them negatives to the Fox News audience, right? And they bring in all the Republican politicians and the Fox News, and they hammer them to the boomer conservatives, so that the boomer conservatives gain awareness of the populist left-winger and get poisoned against them. So when you do polling of the nation, you'll find that like Republicans have very high knowledge of who AOC is. Like not 100% of Republicans know who AOC is, but only that about 60% of left-leaning people know who AOC is. Did you know that? So AOC is very well known, but that's because Republicans all know who she is. And so in her favorability, they're trying to drive up her negatives with Republicans as high as they can, using the traditional right-wing media. So the establishment Democrats work with places like Fox News. They work with the Washington Examiner. They're trying to raise Hasan's profile with conservatives so that he is seen as most negatively as possible by the right wing. And he won't be as known with left-wingers, right? That's the strategy. They do it with Ilhan Omar. They do it with AOC. Like, that's the strategy, is if somebody is organically getting popular on the left, the establishment Democrats run to Fox News and they help try to smear them and get their awareness, like drive up their knowledge on the right and their favorability overall ratings down by getting Republicans against them. Now, if you're not stupid, you recognize these people are never going to like you. Republicans who listen to Fox News are never going to like you. Ever. It doesn't matter what part, like, it doesn't matter. This does not actually matter, but it's about creating a kind of sense that, oh, this person's really unpopular, right? Because Hasan is not being talked about on MS Now. Let's go over to MS Now. They're not going to get much Hasan shit on MS Now. They had him on, and they had him on once, right? And they did a hit on him, but like they're not going to see a lot of Hasan discourse on MS Now because they know he would be popular if they did. So they keep the like Democratic base away from Hasan, but they'll bring a lot of anti-Hasan talking points onto Fox News. This is how the strategy works. That's why Sarah Longwell went on the Bulwark and trashed Hasan using the Washington Examiner, which is a far-right rag. Because it's a strategy. The Democratic Party establishment coordinates with the Republicans to target the left. This is this is how it works. This is how it works. It's how it always works. I went to Easter at my cousins and her adult sons were watching Twitch and mentioned Hasan. They only shot back with Shocktober. I wanted to say it was a vibrating call or not. That story was detrimental. Yeah, well, of course. It was about creating a meme and it's slander. That was the most effective anti-Hasan slander, by the way. But also, it's not true. No one really gives that much of a shit about that stuff. Like, honest to God, it's just that it's a meme. It's a funny meme. That's it. That's the most effective slander they did on Hasan. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter that much. They were trying to reheat shot caller stuff yesterday. Yeah, that's because of the Meat Canyon video. Michael Parenti highlights this in the one book I'm reading. It's been the same move for decades. Yeah. Tell me what book title that is. Tell me which book that's in. And so, like, that's the way it works. Does that make sense? Like, you don't really talk about the left-wing people on places like MSNBC, but then on the right, they're maximally talking about trying to drive up his negatives.
Beg the question, and we can't answer it because we're running out of time here. You're going to gain some votes, maybe, but aren't you going to lose a lot of people who, I don't know, thought 9/11 was a bad thing? Yeah. You know,
great point.
right?
All around.
Plus your integrity.
Plus your integrity.
Yeah. All right, Joe, thank you so much for joining us on this Monday morning. We appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
They know that if Dems dig at a leftist they want to smear, they will agree with them. Exactly. That's the game. That's the fucking game, right? Like China maxing, left-wing activists for luxury trip to Cuba, ideological theme park, disturbing, Dev doubles down after appearance of the anti-Semitic streamer. This is all in the last, look at this shit. All in the last month. Are you going to watch Trump speak? Probably. Also, the way that they're covering Hasan on NBC News is clips out of context. They're not inviting Hasan to have a speech. They're just giving clips out of context. But because other people have repeated the clips out of context, they can now cite the other people repeating the clips out of context. But again, this shit doesn't matter. It doesn't even hurt. Honestly, it doesn't hurt. Like, this is what you guys have to understand. And I think this is something that Hasan is realizing. They're never going to treat us in good faith. If I get popular enough, they'll do the same thing to me. They're never going to treat me or Hasan in good faith, ever. And the thing is, they've been treating us in bad faith for so long, we're used to it, right? I'm now used to it. I'm used to people slandering me. Like, I'm fucking used to it. So they're never going to treat us in good faith, ever. They're going to treat right-wingers, and this is something you also need to understand. They're going to treat right-wingers with much better faith than they will ever treat the left, because the left is the only thing that threatens them. So all we can do is build our own institutions. That's all we can do. We're never going to get a fair shake through the institutions that currently exist because we're a threat.
I do want to ask you, here we are in the midst of the midterms. You're someone who's been quite outspoken.
By the way, chat, I just realized something. We are 3 hours into the stream. If you like this type of content, please consider supporting it by subscribing. Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 subs. Obviously, you know, the way streaming works is you need to build a long-term base. Also, chat, the new reaction podcast. We have just put out episode 4 on Nick Fuentes. Make sure you go check it out because it's extremely fucking good. And this week, I believe we're going to be releasing the Live Agar pod. The Live Agar pod. Make sure you're up there. Please, please, please do listen to it. Do subscribe. It's fucking goated. The project is killing it. Make sure you watch that. Anyway, if you enjoy the content, please consider supporting it by subscribing at Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 sub. You got Amazon Prime. You can attach that to your Twitch account. We get one free sub a month. The only way we're going to succeed is if you support the stream. Literally.
Paula, what's the reaction to President Trump's newest demands to Iran? What can you tell us?
Well, Ben, we're getting a lot of reaction from Iranian officials to that social media post threatening to target power plants and bridges with the expletives as well. Now, we've heard from the Parliament Speaker, Mohammed Bagher.
Can we get a Libs of Tech Talk with the trans guest? We are getting a clavicular episode with Liv Agar, probably one of the most prominent trans creators on the entire internet, who talks about the right. Liv Agar is it's so funny because people don't even know, like Liv is fucking amazing. So yes, of course we can. Did my sub work? Thank you so much, Russell Butt, for the 5. And we have a hype train chat. Please support the stream. You know, I want to be completely honest with you, chat. The way that streaming works is you get bounties, and then you get bumper crops, and then you get famine. You know, and so if you want to support this stream, please consider supporting it by subscribing right fucking now. If you've been getting gifted subs for the last 6 months, please, and you've been watching the stream the entire time, it's time to pay for your own fucking sub. Please pay for your own sub. Live on Clavicular. Honestly, I think it is going to be the clavicular episode.
Galabaf, he's really emerging as a very powerful voice in Tehran at this point, and he's accused Trump of pushing the US towards a living hell and warned that the region could burn. The Iranians have been saying that they will target in kind if there is civilian infrastructure.
The president of this country is openly touting war crimes on television, and this guy's talking about a non-politician streamer. Bob, Are you fucking stupid? Legitimately, are you stupid? The only voices that are against the war are places like me and Hasan. Us being attacked is part of the pro-war propaganda effort. Are you fucking stupid? We are the Gramscian leftists. We understand that the culture war is the war of politics. There is no separating culture war from political war. That's what Gramsci tells you. It is a shameful that right-wingers have figured it out and applied it better than left-wingers. Gramsci is our guy. Why are you disarming for the war that is being fought? I keep telling you to read Gramsci. Have any of you done it? Have any of you comprehended it? The culture war is the political war. Slander against Hasan is the political war. That's what you're not getting, because he is the front of left-wing politics in America. Now, I'm not saying you have to do so by just talking about Hasan, but you have to understand why it's happening. Why is it happening? It's happening because we're about to invade Iran, and Hasan is the most prominent anti-war content creator on the internet. So they're attacking the most prominent anti-war content creator on the internet to try to inculcate the Democratic base from listening to him. That is what is happening. Are you stupid? And I'm sorry for yelling, but you got to snap the fuck out of it. You need to snap the fuck out of it. And I don't know who's telling you I don't want to talk about drama. And honestly, I kind of honestly think Hasan should start demodding any of his mods that are saying, oh, it's drama, drama, drama. This is the culture war. It is a political war. They're fighting him in the way they are because they're trying to fight his politics, and they know they can't talk about his ideas because if they do, they will be popular. So they have to talk about Hasan to discredit him. They're poisoning the well in order to prevent him from getting more influence, which is an attempt to stop our political movement. It is not complicated. Get your shit together. You're supposed to be the smart leftists. There's a reason why Zohran Mamdani won Young Men. Zohran Mamdani because of young men. Young men watch Hasan. Literally, Hasan helped Zohran Mamdani win. That's literally what happened. That's why they're going after him. Because the far left is going to be, if we win, it's going to be on the backs of young men. And who do young men watch that are left wing? It is because of Hasan. Like, our movement depends upon Hasan. I know how cringe that sounds. I know how he would probably deny it himself. But I'm telling you, I've looked at the data, and the data is overwhelmingly that he is the premier left-wing voice in the world. That's not part of like a government or something. Like, it is what it is. It's cringe, but it's true. All right, let's go. And like, I don't mind being cringe because who gives a shit? Call me cringe. Call me a Hasan dick rider. Whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit. I only care about what the data shows. If there were some other left-wing leader, a left-wing creator that was blowing the fuck up and they were amenable to my politics, I would be glazing them too.
Most harrowing combat.
Okay, let's get on with Trump speaking about the war. Fuck. This is not my best stream today, honestly.
Great Easter. This is one of our better Easters.
I feel like the ideas were important, but I don't feel like they got through. I think I'm doing a poor job of explaining it. So frustrating when like I have all the evidence and all the data and all the facts, and it's just like people have adopted these dumb fucking thought-terminating cliches, and it's really frustrating.
I think in a lot of different ways. I can say militarily, it's been one of the best. So good afternoon. We have quite a bit to discuss. We'll go into pretty good detail, and we have the people that are most involved. We'll give you.
By the way, like the chatter, Bob, who I like and is a longtime chatter, he put a message about like, Mike, I can't believe you're talking about Hasan instead of the war, blah, 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 blah. It's all one and the same. I'm trying to explain to you guys the culture war is the war. It is the war. And thank you for the 50 subs. You know, I appreciate those of you that supported the stream. It means a lot. I appreciate you guys.
Exactitude. And we're here today to celebrate the success of one of the largest, most complex, most harrowing combat search, I guess you would call it a search and rescue mission, ever attempted by the military. Generally, when planes are knocked down in war, especially when you're fighting a strong group.
As John Cowan said and then told the New York Times, if you are a Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, abolishing ICE, open borders, you're a lefty. We will be the chief opponent of the left in the 2028 Democratic presidential primary. 30 to 50 million spending planned. I mean, yes, I can see it coming from a mile away. In fact, I talked to AOC predicting that AIPAC would be targeting the left, 5 years ago? And I told her it would happen well before October 7th happened. I told her that it would happen to her face. Who else did that? Was anybody else saying that? Like, I'll show it to you. Here, hold on. Let me find it.
An evil group. You can't really do this because you send in 200 men to pick up one, and it's something that's usually not attempted as much as you want to attempt. And bad things happen to that one or two. And in this case, we did two, and it might not have been attempted before, but we did. And we had great talent. But we got a little luck too, I would say. And we were helped by a lot of people, a lot of great people. And it was an honor to be involved with it. It's very historic. This is a rescue that's very historic. It'll go down in the books. Late Thursday night, an American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, well at a level that nobody's ever seen before. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. Both members of the crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive. On Iranian soil, I immediately was asked to make a decision. I ordered the U.S. Armed Forces to do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home. A risky decision, because we could have ended up with 100 dead as opposed to 1 or 2. It's a hard decision to make. But in the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it. Within hours, our armed forces deployed 21 military aircraft into hostile airspace, many flying at very low altitude, being shot by bullets. You bring rifles into play when you go in that low. There are also certain advantages. And in broad daylight over Iran for 7 hours, at times facing very, very heavy enemy fire. We have a helicopter that's got a lot of bullets in it. It's amazing. We just realized how good those weapons.
Okay, Chad, I want to show you this. I literally talked to AOC July 24th, 2021, and I told her that AIPAC was going to become involved in Democratic primaries to attack the left. Here she is responding to me.
Jamal, Corey, etc. And the thing is like, just with a lot of negativity, you know? And any race, this race, all races, should be about the actuals affecting people in Ohio. That's what it's about. And so, you know, anyone is, of course, always welcome to the conversation, but dark money should be deciding our election. Lobbyists should true, authentic conversations about the people. That should how we select all.
So I asked her about, hey, dark money super PAC, Democratic for Majority for Israel against Nina Turner, July 24th, 2021. I said, hey, what do you think about the fact that Israel money is coming against all the progressives? And she talked about how they went after Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, and now Nina Turner. I was on top of this. I predicted it well before October 7th. I always knew that the Israel lobby was going to be our #1 op. And I called it well before everyone else, literally before everyone else. And what didn't require genius, it just required the fact that I had my eyes open, paying attention. Very few people actually pay attention on their own. And that's the problem that we have. But again, it doesn't matter if you have the best analysis for years. People, that's not how the internet works. Like, being correct is not what people care about. They care about you being relevant. Relevance is more important than being correct. Having good analysis is not that important to people. Like, it really isn't. Fuck, did I close my Trump tab? Fuck, where the fuck is it? Hey, apparently I did. It's all right, Chad, I'll get it again. Thank you, Right's Gone. Haven't AIPAC always been doing that? Actually, Democratic Majority for Israel started I believe they started it in 2019 to attack Bernie Sanders in Iowa. We'll start from the beginning.
It's a great honor to be with you, and happy Easter. We had a great Easter. This is one of our better Easters, I think, in a lot of different ways. I can say militarily, it's been one of the best. So, good afternoon. We have quite a bit to discuss. We'll go into pretty good detail, and we have the people that...
Before we move on to Donald Trump, I just want to explain this to you. Democratic Majority for Israel is an American advocacy group that supports pro-Israel policies within the Democratic Party. It's founded in January 2019 in reaction to polling that showed Democrats and younger voters were less supportive of Israel than previous generations. Its current president and CEO is Brian Romick, a former senior advisor to Rep. Steny Hoyer, and its board of directors is former Rep. Kathy Manning. DMFI's separate sister organization is the Political Action Committee, DMFI PAC, founded in July 2019 to do what? Attack Bernie Sanders. The PAC opposed Bernie Sanders in the 2020 Democratic presidential caucuses in Iowa, endorsed Joe Biden early in 2020 Democratic primaries, again in 2024. After President Biden withdrew, DMFI announced its endorsement of Kamala Harris in July 2024. This is why she didn't break from Biden on Israel, because she was bought. And if you want to be mad at anybody about 2024 and you're trying to be mad at left-wingers or whatever, you need to be mad at Kamala Harris for being a bad politician and being bad at her job and taking dirty money that caused her to lose. That's who you need to be mad at. A fucking loser. It ran attack ads opposing Bernie Sanders' candidacy during the 2020. It spent $1.4 million on advertising attacking Sanders. The anti-Sanders advertising concentrated on arguing that Sanders would lose to Trump in the general election, including arguments about his socialism label and Sanders' recent heart attack. Jonathan Tobin wrote that DMFI played a not insignificant role in helping undermine Sanders at a point in the campaign when he was the frontrunner and Biden seemed dead in the water. After his election, Biden wrote to DMFI, "I am grateful for and humbled by your statement of support for this campaign." Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, read the letter aloud during a virtual meeting. These are the people who buy your politicians, and they do it in your fucking face. And then people tell you that these people are on our side and you need to vote blue no matter who, or whatever the fuck you dumb pieces of shit say.
Are most involved. We'll give you exactitude. And we're here today to celebrate the success of one of the largest, most complex, most harrowing combat search, I guess you would call it a search and rescue mission, ever attempted by the military. Generally, when planes are knocked down in war, especially when you're fighting a strong group, an evil group, you can't really do this because you send in 200 men to pick up one, and it's something that's usually not attempted as much as you want to attempt. And bad things happen to that one or two. And in this case, we did two, and it might not have been attempted before, but we did. And we had great talent, but we got a little luck too, I would say. And we were helped by a lot of people, a lot of great people. And it was an honor to be involved with it. It's very historic. This is a rescue that's very historic. It'll go down in the books. Late Thursday night, an American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, well at a level that nobody's ever seen before. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. Both members of the crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive. On Iranian soil, I immediately was asked to make a decision. I ordered the U.S. Armed Forces to do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home. A risky decision, because we could have ended up with 100 dead as opposed to 1 or 2. It's a hard decision to make. But in the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it. Within hours, our armed forces deployed 21 military aircraft into hostile airspace, many flying at very low altitude, being shot by bullets. You bring rifles into play when you're going that low. There are also certain advantages. And in broad daylight over Iran for 7 hours, at times facing very, very heavy enemy fire. We have a helicopter that's got a lot of bullets in it. It's amazing. We just realized how good those weapons are. Our machines are. Nobody has the equipment that we have, and nobody has the military that we have. Not even close. We're the most powerful military anywhere in the world by far. The flight crews and warfighters aboard those aircraft took extraordinary risks to rescue their fellow service members. This first wave of search and rescue forces successfully located the pilot of the F-15, and he was extracted from enemy territory by an HH-60 Jolly Green II helicopter. Fabulous machine as our warriors faced gunfire at very close range. It's amazing that when you look at the machinery, what happened, that nobody was even injured. Meanwhile, the second crew member, a weapons system officer, highly respected colonel, had landed a significant distance away from the pilot. When you're going at those speeds, even if you go out 2 or 3 seconds later, it's miles and miles away because you're going fast. He was injured quite badly and stranded in an area teeming with terrorists from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps rough group, as well as besieged militia and local authorities. Many, on top of everything else, they told the communities actually within side of Iran, the people of Iran, they were given a tremendous incentive to find this pilot. Despite the peril, the officer followed his training and climbed into the treacherous mountain terrain and started climbing toward a higher altitude, something they were trained to do in order to evade capture. They want to always go as far away from the site of the shoot down. You want to go as far away because they all head right to that site. You want to be as far away as you can. And he was injured, and he was an amazing, amazing thing. He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper-type apparatus that is on them at all times. And when they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space, and they're in good shape. And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life. We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout, and he kept going higher and higher. The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher, and really very, very hard to find. The second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas, so we were scattered all over like we were right on top of them. We had 7 different locations where they thought, and they were very confused. They said, well, wait a minute, they've got groups here, they've got groups there. It's an amazing thing. I was listening to these great people, these great generals. General Raisin Kane was amazing. Pete Hegseth was amazing. But I listened to the whole thing. It was pretty amazing. So they had all these different sites where everybody thought he was located. We think we have him over there because they have 9 planes circling a little area that's 25 miles down the coast. So in a breathtaking show of skill and precision, lethality and force, America's military descended on the area, the real area, engaged the enemy, rescued the stranded officer, destroyed all threats, and exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind. The heroic F-15 weapons system officer had evaded capture on the ground in Iran for almost 48 hours. That's a long time when you're in tough shape and when you're bleeding. It's a long time. When we left, as you probably know, we had 2 large planes, pretty old planes. It carried a lot. We needed a lot more equipment going in than coming out, obviously, because going in, we needed to be able to scale mountains, and we had a lot of equipment. But the sand was sandy, wet sand, so we thought there may be a problem taking off because of the weight of the plane, and then we also had all the men jumping back onto the planes, and they got pretty well bogged down, and we had a contingency plan, which was unbelievable, where lighter, faster aircraft came in, and they took them out. We blew up the old planes. We blew them up to smithereens because we had equipment on the planes that, frankly, we'd like to take, but I don't think it was worthwhile spending another 4 hours there taking it off. So we didn't want anybody to have, we have the best equipment anywhere in the world. We didn't want anybody examining our anti-aircraft and other equipment. So these were large planes that were old and pretty old, and we blew them up, and we had faster, lighter planes come in, and they were able to land on the sand. We needed the bigger planes because we had so much equipment that we needed. We took 3 helicopters over there, which were very strongly used. Couldn't have lived without them. They performed unbelievably well. And if you'd see it, you wouldn't believe it. They came off the plane, and these guys had them, the rotors were off. They rebuilt these helicopters in less than 10 minutes. And that was one of the more amazing things. These are helicopters, small, unbelievably powerful, but small, very small, so it can get into certain areas. And they got them off the plane, and they rebuilt all 3 of them in a matter of less than 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing what the genius of these people. Who would think that? You'd think it would take 5 days to build them. And in some companies, it would take 5 days, and they wouldn't do it well. But they served us well. As Commander-in-Chief, I never forget the extraordinary risk taken by the warriors that we send into battle and the genius. I mean, think of it, having a contingency of 3 planes waiting because we think the sand is so bad that we probably won't be able to take off. And the planes really got bogged. This was not much of a runway. This was a farm, not a runway. It's a farm, but it did the trick. But to have a contingency as opposed to having to wait 2 days, can you imagine right in the middle? This was central. This was right, you would call it central casting if you were doing a movie for location. And probably the toughest area of Iran where we'd be sitting there. So these planes came in, those pilots came in so fast and so quick and got out of there. Everybody got aboard and just got 15-minute intervals. One load out, one load out, one load out. It happened. And we were watching, and we said, "That's amazing." It's in many ways, I was almost more impressed by the contingency that we had than the fact that if we would have had a runway or decent soil. But it was an amazing thing. But we thank God for every single one of them, and the talent, the genius is not even talent; it's genius. It's the whole ball game, every one of them. If you look at what we did with Maduro, we went into a military compound, a massive, with thousands and thousands of soldiers, and within a matter of minutes. And he lived behind iron doors. There were steel doors, broke them down so quickly. And within almost minutes, he was in the back of these planes. It was a similar group, incredible. We have incredibly talented people. And if the time comes, we move heaven and earth to bring them home safely. We're going to bring our people home safely. I want to thank every member of the U.S. Armed Forces involved in these historic operations. They really were historic. It's just not something that's done. And you'd understand it. Not that they don't want to do it, but when you're going into areas, when you look at these helicopters, when you look at the amount of bullets and everything else that they took, when you go into these areas, you don't come out like we came out. God was watching us. Well, it was the Easter. We were in Easter territory, I guess, but God was watching us. Amazing. Because when you look at the machinery, they took damage. It tells you, first thing I said is, these are unbelievable machines, how they flew back and not even much of a problem. But these two extraordinary rescues, because it was two, and as you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour, and then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker, and talked about there's somebody missing. They basically said that we have one and there's somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out because we're going to go to the media company that released it, and we're going to say national security, give it up or go to jail. And we know who, and you know who we're talking about, because some things you can't do. Because when they did that, all of a sudden, the entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life. And it also made it much more difficult for the pilots and for the people going in to search for him. All of a sudden, they know that there's somebody out there. They see all these planes coming in. It became a much more difficult operation because a leaker leaked that we have one, we've rescued one, but there's another one out there that we're trying to get. So actually, the country, Iran, put out a major notice, you all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot. So in addition to a hostile, very talented, very good, very evil military, we had millions of people trying to get an award. So
they're very good, very talented, but very evil, very good military. God, he's such a fucking... I mean, couple things. I've been listening to the Trump's explanation, and the first thing is, it is absolutely right that they were incredibly lucky and fortunate to be able to withdraw. Now, I think they're hiding casualties because they lost multiple airframes. Maybe everybody's fine, but it is true that if they successfully rescued these guys, that was a very effective operation. And I don't think that you, as a person analyzing this war, should be surprised by that outcome. This is fighting in extremely rough terrain. The United States poured hundreds of millions of dollars of equipment, billions of dollars of equipment into this area. The United States is going to be very effective in that kind of scenario. That's actually the United States military's wheelhouse. And the fact that the entire mission was run away is why it was able to be pulled off. The United States is very effective at running away. The United States is very effective at evacuating. The United States is very effective at fleeing. There's no doubt about that. We've been proving it time and time again. In Afghanistan, we showed them how to flee. In Iraq, we showed them how to flee. In Vietnam, we showed them how to flee. In Korea, we showed them we know how to retreat. The United States is very, very effective at retreating. It's very good at and very skilled at the practice of evacuations, retreats, and lowering the flag. Like, we're very, very good at that. We're not very good at winning the war, right? And so that's kind of what happened here is they lost a lot of equipment and they left. That is the net effect of what happened. And the United States is losing a lot of equipment, and it's escalating the equipment losses. And the reason why we're seeing a lot more equipment losses than casualties is because the United States is trying to avoid going into spaces where the Iranians can fight back. We have the standoff weapon range, right? We're trying to, it's like having reach on another boxer, right? So we are standing at max range doing pepper jabs. And it does cause damage. There's no doubt about it, okay? The problem is actually invading and controlling Iran will involve having to go into Iran's range. And if they do that, there will be horrific casualties, and we will see huge, huge losses, and it will require much larger military forces. The problem is they're not achieving the strategic goals they set out for themselves, which was forcing Iran to give up nuclear weapons or nuclear enrichment or nuclear power and open the Strait of Hormuz. Those strategic objectives are not met. The United States has not won anything. They are bombing a lot of hospitals. They're bombing a lot of civilian infrastructure. They're assassinating civilians, but they're not actually achieving their strategic objective.
When you add that to it, but we have to find that leaker because that's a sick person. Probably didn't realize the extent of how bad it was. I can't imagine that the person did, but we're going to find out. It's national security, and the person that did the story will go to jail if he doesn't say, and that doesn't last long, and I think everybody would understand it. They put this mission at great risk. They put that man at great risk, and they put the hundreds of people that went in looking for him, because everyone now knows that we're going in. Over the past 37 days, America's armed forces have carried out more than 10,000 combat flights over Iran, unheard of, striking more than 13,000 targets. The F-15 we lost last week was the first manned aircraft downed by the enemy in this entire operation with thousands and thousands of flights. They got lucky. It was a lucky hit. You know, eventually you get lucky, but we got lucky too because we got both of them back. But it's a record that is unparalleled in the history of military air operations. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's such an honor to be involved with it. We were up late at night, and then we were waiting for those contingent planes to come in, and we say, come on, let's go, get in, because they're waiting out on this farm without a runway, with wet, crummy soil, sand, mostly sand, wet sand, and it eats planes alive, and we're waiting, and we're saying, I hope that one can land and take off, and they came in like magic, boom, 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 one after another. It was like genius. So impressed by that. Because we were a little concerned. We said, boy, if they don't get in and get up fast, we're sitting in them. And that's called Iran Prime, right, General? That's where the whole bet is. And here we are sitting there waiting for a plane. But they came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what to do. Let's go, come on, get in, let's go, pwah. They came one right after another, not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't have any room. There was barely any room to land. Tiny little patch of very wet earth and sand. So I'm so proud of the people that I have standing up here with me and many others that worked. I mean, so many. Steve Witkoff's over here. He's doing fantastically. Jared Kushner. But the people that are here, the job they did is amazing. And I think I'm going to introduce the head of the CIA, and he is a man he's central casting, okay? If we cast a movie, he's going to play the head of the CIA. He's one of the, John Ratcliffe. He did a phenomenal job that night. He did something that I don't know if you want to talk about it. If you want, you can. I'm not sure he's supposed to. I'm not going to talk about it. But the CIA was very responsible for finding this little speck. It's like they used an expression on one of the shows. A general was talking about, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, finding this pilot. And the CIA was unbelievable. And you may, if you can, you'll talk. It might be classified, in which case I'd have to put him in jail if he talks about it. And I don't want to put him in jail. He doesn't deserve that. So, John, do you want to say a few words? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a privilege to be here with you today to share what we can.
He's such a dumb piece of shit,
exceptional mission, and to recognize the ingenuity and bravery of those who executed it, as well as the leadership and resolve of the President who ordered it. One thing that has been clear to me in this role is that the flawless military operations that the Department of War is known for are hostage to flawless intelligence. We saw that in the skies over.
You just bombed his elementary school, dude. What do you mean flawless? Just bombed an elementary school. Like, what are we talking about? Flawless. Whenever you have an intelligence leader talking like this, you know they're about to do something really dumb. Intelligence officials are supposed to be the ones who see through the bullshit. Every other political space in the government is supposed to be, you know, they have a little propaganda, they have a little spin. Your intelligence officials are supposed to be the ones who take off the blinders, who take off the ideological glasses, and they just evaluate things as they actually are and give you accurate information so you can make decisions. When they're the propaganda, that's when you make catastrophic errors.
Over Iran in Operation Midnight Hammer last summer, we witnessed it in Venezuela during Operation Absolute Resolve. We've seen it against the cartels in the Western Hemisphere, and we're seeing it every day in Operation Epic Fury, including this mission to rescue an aviator buried deep behind enemy lines. Because it is the unique tradition of the U.S. Armed Forces that we leave no man or woman behind, this was a no-fail mission. That was the spirit in which the president put us to work, and we were determined not to let him down.
Yeah, I think they rescued all the pilots, according to the American government.
Down. As an agency, the CIA possesses unique capabilities that only the president can deploy. Some of these capabilities fall under covert action authority, and because covert means exactly that, I'm not going to be able to tell you everything that you want to know. At the president's direction, we deployed both human assets and exquisite technologies that no other intelligence service in the world possesses to a daunting challenge comparable to hunting for a single grain of sand in the middle of a desert. This was also a race against the clock, as it was critical that we locate the downed aviator as quickly as possible, while at the same time keeping our enemies misdirected. For that reason, in addition to the human and technical assets deployed by the president to find our airmen, CIA executed a deception campaign to confuse the Iranians who were desperately hunting for our airmen. On Saturday morning, we achieved our primary objective by finding and providing confirmation that one of America's best and bravest was alive and concealed in a mountain crevice, still invisible to the enemy, but not to the CIA. That confirmation was relayed by Secretary Hegseth to the president and the operation.
They have a satellite phone. You know, like, yeah, I hope you're able to connect to the guy who has the encrypted satellite phone, telling him exactly where he is. Like, what? We knew exactly where the guy was that had the tracking beacon on him.
Quickly moved to the execution phase. Following the successful exfiltration on Saturday night, our intelligence reflects that the Iranians were embarrassed and ultimately humiliated by the success of this audacious rescue mission. When the president asked me to lead the CIA...
If you were watching us on stream this weekend, I was in the chat, and one of the things I said is, let me just pull up my logs, because I feel like you just see what I said. Everything I said then is still applicable now. Okay, hold on. I had so many bangers. Okay, hold on. I said, keep listening. Go ahead.
He made it clear. Get back to basics. No politics. No agendas. Tackle the hardest problems and execute the toughest missions. This president is about results. And now...
Okay, here you go. Fuck, I lost it. I lost what I was saying. Fuck, this is Friday. Fuck. Hold on. Okay. The U.S. is running out of what they call exquisite weapons, which are very expensive standoff weapons that they would use for the SEAD, suppression of enemy air defense missions. Now that they're running out of those, we are using less sophisticated weapons like the 1972 release F-15. We are likely to see far more shootdowns as the U.S. is forced to use weapon systems like that. And that's why they lost more planes, because they were forced to get within range of Iranian defenses. If they put boots on the ground, they're going to be seeing even more defenses. What else? I had another analysis that was really fucking important. I'll have to find it. But the larger point that I'm making is, it's about face. That's what it was. Face. Hold on. Face. Here it is. Whenever in history leaders start talking about face, saving face, that's where stupidity compounds. Trump is exactly the personality type that's going to get us into this escalation. And that's the point that I wanted to make. Is they're talking about humiliating the Iranians. That's not about strategy. That's not about logistics. That's not about tactics. That is an emotional state. They're talking about this war like it's an emotional state. They're talking about this shit like it is oh, we're going to make them feel bad instead of we're going to, seize the uranium. We're going to stop the nuclear program. We're going to open the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to establish a friendly government in Tehran. Like, they're not talking about the war around discrete objectives. They're talking about the war based on we're going to make the Iranians embarrassed. The Iranians could win that war by just not being embarrassed. To be like, we're not embarrassed. You shot down more of your planes. That's embarrassing. You spend 1.5 trillion on your military. We spend 9 billion. We're holding you off by spending 1% as much money as you.
Our machines are nobody has the equipment that we have, and nobody has the military that we have, not even close. We're the most powerful military anywhere in the world by far. The flight crews and warfighters aboard those aircraft took extraordinary risks to rescue their fellow service members. This first wave of search and rescue forces successfully located the pilot of the F-15, and he was extracted from enemy territory by an HH-60 Jolly Green II helicopter. Fabulous machine as our warriors faced gunfire at very close range. It's amazing that when you look at the machinery, what happened, that nobody was even injured. Meanwhile, the second crew member, a weapons system officer, highly respected colonel, had landed a significant distance away from the pilot. When you're going at those speeds, even if you go out 2 or 3 seconds later, it's miles and miles away because you're going fast. He was injured quite badly and stranded in an area teeming with terrorists from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps rough group, as well as besieged militia and local authorities. On top of everything else, they told the communities actually inside of Iran, the people of Iran, they were given a tremendous incentive to find this pilot. Despite the peril, the officer followed his training and climbed into the treacherous mountain terrain and started climbing toward a higher altitude, something they were trained to do in order to evade capture. They want to always go as far away from the site of the shoot down. You want to go as far away because they all head right to that site. You want to be as far away as you can. And he was injured, and he was an amazing, amazing thing. He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper-type apparatus that is on them at all times. And when they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space, and they're in good shape. And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life. We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout, and he kept going higher and higher. The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher, and really very, very hard to find. The second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking.
Did we repeat? Did I accidentally hit a button? Oh, fuck. How far back did I go? Fuck. I'm losing it. I was like, wait a minute. We already heard this. How far back did I go? Fuck. Okay, it was like I must have accidentally hit the
brought every American
keyboard
home.
with my fucking bowl. God damn it.
Our teams
How far
and
back
full
did we go?
synchronization across air, ground, and special operations. The Iranians are
Why listen if you're not paying attention? I got bored. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was around here.
Deployed by the president to find our airman, knowing the successful that the should be boosted by knowing that the security of the nation is in the hands of a president.
Chad, I'm being overstimulated. I'm eating. I'm listening to this. The cats are turning on their cat toys. I'm being surrounded by so many distractions right now.
Who's willing to take on problems that have confounded both sides of the political aisle for nearly half a century.
This has been a shitty stream today. I'm the one who said that.
It is an honor to serve under a leader who just proved that you can believe him when he says, no matter what, we will leave no one behind. We will come for you. Thank you.
Mike only pays attention 50% of that. Honest to God, like, I do feel like my brain is being rotten by this shit. Like, honest to God, like, I have a hard time locking into these guys because they're just so stupid. And I just get into a mental loop where I'm like, I want to, like, Pete Hegseth just does his chest thumping bullshit, and it's embarrassing.
Well, John, thank you for the collaboration with the CIA as well. Incredible and ongoing partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Americans, and especially the brave warriors in our armed forces, over this Easter weekend, the United States military has once again proved why we possess the greatest fighting force the world has ever known. In 2 extraordinary combat search and rescue operations deep inside enemy territory in Iran, our warriors executed missions of breathtaking skill, courage, and precision. When our warriors are unleashed, as this president has allowed them to be, they are unstoppable. When American airmen were down behind enemy lines, our forces and our president did not hesitate. Special operators supported by elite air crews and intelligence professionals moved swiftly and decisively into treacherous mountain terrain under the constant threat of Iranian forces closing in. Ultimately, it was an impotent Iranian threat. And today, as the CIA director mentioned, Iran's military, and we know this, is embarrassed and humiliated, and they should be. Now, these are not routine operations. They were high-risk, high-stakes missions conducted in the heart of enemy territory. This was not just barely into Iran, this was deep into Iran, involving coordinated strikes to suppress threats, deception tactics to protect our teams, and full synchronization across air, ground, and special operations. The Iranians are still asking themselves right now, how did the Americans do this? 1 downed airman evaded capture for more than a day, scaling rugged ridges while hunted by the enemy. When he was finally able to activate his emergency transponder, his first message was simple and it was powerful. He sent a message, God is good. In that moment of isolation and danger, his faith.
I gotta tell you, chat, like this kind of hokey religious pablum is absolutely unacceptable in a secular republic. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't care if you believe in God or not, but this is just nonsensical bullshit and it's embarrassing. Okay. If I am what, can you imagine your surgeon going, oh, you know, your aorta, I dissected your aorta and the blood was spurting everywhere. And I stopped for a moment to go, please, God, help. It's fucking embarrassing. Okay. If you want to do this toddler talk in your own time, do it. But this shit is fucking embarrassing.
Fighting spirit shone through. You see, shot down on a Friday, Good Friday, hidden in a cave, a crevice, all of Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday. A pilot reborn, all home and accounted for, a nation rejoicing. God is good. Despite incoming fire and unforgiving conditions, our troops brought every American home.
The pilot was Jesus! The pilot was Jesus, guys! Jesus pilot!
No American lives were lost. We leave no man behind, and that is not luck. It's the result of unmatched training, superior technology, an unbreakable warrior ethos, and sheer American grit. Our special operators, pilots, and support crews performed with near perfection under fire, and they were lethal. Just ask any Iranian soldier who dared attempt to get anywhere near that pilot before or during that mission. Death from above. Our troops turned a potential tragedy into a resounding demonstration of American resolve and capability. That's what excellence in uniform looks like.
The resolve is we got shot down and we went and rescued the pilot at the cost of hundreds of millions of dollars. That shows our resolve. Your resolve is we're using standoff weapons because we don't want to have any casualties, because if we have any casualties, the American people won't support the war. So we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars because money is fake. But the moment any casualties actually happen, it's a fucking disaster. So we're evacuating every military base we have in the region to avoid any casualties. That's the military reality of the war on Iran.
No mistake about it. None of this would have been possible without the courageous leadership and ironclad determination of President Donald J. Trump. From the moment our airmen went down, President Trump made it clear we will leave no one behind. The first mission, the first of 2, was an audacious daylight thunder run right up the middle. It was authorized in less than 2 hours from that pilot going down when we knew where he was. And it was authorized in the middle of the night, because anybody that's worked for this man knows he's up in the middle of the night. Authorized immediately, without hesitation, audacious. The second mission, as soon as we knew where that pilot was, and John was certainly helpful in that, also executed immediately. You know, I looked up at my screen when the final mission was complete inside our SCIF, our secure facility. And we have a running VTC, a running coordination cell. And the top of it read 45 hours and 56 minutes. For 45 hours and 56 minutes, we held that call open for coordination. From the moment our pilots went down, our mission was unblinking. The call never dropped. The The meeting never stopped. The planning never ceased. The president demanded rapid, decisive action. He backed our military with the full weight of his resolve, refusing to let enemy propaganda or tactical setbacks deter us. His leadership ensured that every lethal and non-lethal resource was brought to bear that our forces
So we have God-bothering, Bible-thumping drivel, and then Trump glazing. This shit is so fucking embarrassing. And honestly, right-wingers don't even watch this drivel. Why am I inflicting this on myself? Because this is history, folks. And this is like whipping yourself so that you recognize the pain of ever allowing the far right into power again. Look at these fucking dopes, dude. And they're gonna invade Iran. They're going to invade Iran.
The authorities and the support they needed to succeed. When the president says he has the backs of our warfighters, he means it. And it means a great deal, and it's a big difference on the battlefield. President Trump understands that peace through strength is not a slogan. It is a doctrine that saves American lives. His unwavering commitment to rebuilding our military and restoring the warrior spirit has paid dividends in missions just like this one. Under his command, America projects power with confidence and brings our people home with victory. And that continues today, by the way.
Per the president's direction, today will be the largest. Okay, I'm skipping to the questions, chat. I'm skipping to the questions. I don't give a shit about this. Okay, thank God. I don't need to hear any more glazing. I'm so sorry I made you sit through that. Jesus Christ. I apologize.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. And these two gentlemen have been, from day one, they've been perfecto. You know, I got to know General Kane in my first term because he was able to take out ISIS in 4 weeks instead of the 4-year projection that was given to me by other much lesser generals. And I said, you know, if I ever do this again, that's going to be the head of my Joint Chiefs of Staff. And we worked it out. Amazing.
They like him because his name is called Raising Cain, and they're dumb as fuck. So this guy's promoted because he's got a nickname. Oh my God, dude. Holy shit.
Got ISIS. We defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. I was told it would take 4 years. I flew to Iraq to find out with the greatest equipment in the world, why would it take 4 years? And he told me, sir, it won't. It'll take 4 weeks and you'll have time left over. And that's exactly what happened. So he's great. And Pete, all I can say is that he was treated very unfairly. And now those same people that treated him unfairly, that fought against him, they called me up saying, what a great choice he was. I said, well, what happened during his nomination? What happened? I'm sorry, it's people that were not for him, senators, friends of mine. Sir, I don't think you're doing the right thing. Now they're calling me up. What a choice. These two guys are fantastic. And John Ratcliffe is incredible. I was actually there.
Donald Trump is literally I feel like he has a monkey's paw where he made a wish to become the most powerful man in the world at the cost of like losing all sense of self-awareness. Like there has to be some sort of we are in some sort of demon haunted wish because there's no fucking way that people voted actively for this guy. I'm about to go off on a long rant about the honorable tradition of seppuku or harikari. Like I used to think that such traditions were absolutely barbaric. I really used to think that. I used to have a chauvinist opinion about it and be like, that's a terrible, terrible, terrible cultural artifact. I can't believe that was so widely accepted. But now, after the Trump administration, I'm like, makes sense now.
Genius that called us from, he was 40 miles away. And he said, you know, we're seeing something moving up in the mountain. This is at night. And they kept the camera on him for 45 minutes. It wasn't moving. And they said, you know, probably wrong, but we're seeing something moving. This is a vast mountain, vast, thick bushes, trees, and we see something moving 40 miles away. It's the head of a human being, I'm telling you, it's moving. And then all of a sudden, 45 minutes later, he moved a lot, stood up, and they said, we have him. And that was really the beginning of something incredible. We had an idea where he was, but not specifically. That's a big mountain. So I want to thank the CIA, too. I don't think they get enough credit for the great job they've done. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for this great opportunity. Country, it has super army.
SCOTUS vacates charges against Steve Bannon. Supreme Court vacates Steve Bannon contempt of Congress charges. The court did not explain its decision, and there were no dissents. The Trump Justice Department had moved to drop the indictment against Bannon and return the lower case to lower court for dismissal.
President Trump's confidant Steve Bannon is avoiding more.
Remember those checks and balances every liberal told you about? Do you remember how they used to be like, our system is better than those communist systems because we got checks and balances. So apparently there is no, so the The supervisory role of Congress is dependent upon the fact that they can compel people to testify at hearings. If they can't compel people to testify at hearings, then there is no check and balance. People just say, fuck you and don't show up.
That's what his CIA is about, too. The professionals at the agency and at the Department of War deserve immense credit for their flawless execution during
What the fuck? How many of these do I have open? That's why. Wait. I don't care anymore. I'm sorry, chat. I don't fucking care anymore. I can't with this. I can't with this dribble. I don't fucking care anymore. I really don't. Holy shit. I just can't make myself care. It's dribble. What world are we in? What world are we in? Like, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, your ADHD is out of control. Because it's dumb as fuck, man. I have to sit here and wait a week before they invade. We have to go through this whole rigmarole where they're like, open the Strait of Hormuz by tomorrow. And then they don't. And then nothing will fundamentally change. And then we have to wait until the Marines suddenly show up because we're out of oil. And everybody has to pretend like it isn't obvious that this is happening. It's fucking happening. And everybody is literally just coping.
CNN has now learned that countries working to end the war with Iran are calling for a 45-day ceasefire. A White House official.
Wow, they want a ceasefire so they can sell a bunch of oil and keep the markets from collapsing. If Iran is stupid, they will agree. If they learned absolutely nothing from the Gaza genocide, they will agree. Like, and I'm sorry to be so harsh, but that's just the way it would go. If you learned absolutely nothing, then you would agree. The United States and the rest of the world is about to eat shit over oil shortages. So either you let them do it, you let them experience it, or it's too fucking late.
Says the president has not signed off on the proposal, but Iran has already rejected it. It comes as the president threatens to escalate the conflict big time, demanding that Iran reopen the vital Strait of Hormuz by tomorrow evening. He tells Axios that if that deadline expires, and I'm quoting the president I am blowing up everything. End quote.
Damn it.
Do you know how seriously the president is considering this ceasefire proposal?
Well, look, what we know
Chatter.
As of now is that he is considering it. It's unclear, though, how serious he is actually taking it. As you mentioned, a White House official told us that he has not signed off on this proposal yet, and that it's just one of many ideas under consideration. But what I can tell you is that obviously we are now only 36 or so hours now away from that new deadline that the president had set for Iran to either reopen the Strait of Hormuz or face a serious and much more aggressive escalation in U.S. attacks, particularly, the president said, on energy infrastructure sites, civilian infrastructure sites. So we'll have to see. I think this proposal, and I should note this proposal was drafted by U.S. intermediaries in this war, countries like Pakistan, Turkey, and Egypt, which have been passing messages between Washington and Tehran. They are the ones who had drafted this proposal. They delivered it to both countries last night. And so now we just are trying to get a sense of whether or not this is actually something that we could see happen. The idea, of course, behind it is they're hoping that a 45-day ceasefire could be enough time for both sides to really have much more substantial negotiations that could potentially provide an end to the war. But again, we don't really know if this is something that could actually move forward. But of course, the hope is that such an agreement could stave off what the United States and really what the president is issuing with those threats of escalation. I will say the Iranians, for their part, have said that they reject this idea of a temporary ceasefire. They said essentially in so many words that they want any sort of deal to be an end to the war. Unclear if that's something that could actually be thought about. I think certainly not within the short deadline we're now facing at 8 p.m. tomorrow. All to say, the president's press conference will hopefully shed a little bit more light on this, as well as also give us a little bit more sense around the timing, of course, because that's been a huge question this entire time. The president has shifted deadlines regarding how long he expects this to last. His most recent one was saying 2 to 3 weeks before he thought the war could be wrapped up. We'll see if that's still the case when he addresses reporters at 1 p.m. today, Pamela.
Right. And I'm just wondering, we've seen the president in this war make threats and not follow through on them. Are you getting a sense from your sources how serious he is about this threat of going after civilian infrastructure in Iran if it doesn't open up the Strait of Hormuz by tomorrow night?
Yeah, look, I've been talking to a lot of people in that building behind me, as well as throughout the administration, on this idea. I will say part of the reason we've seen that deadline shift previously, I mean, it initially gave one deadline. He pushed it 10 days. He's now pushed it again by another day, is because the Trump administration recognized to escalate in such a way, and of course some of the things the president has threatened to attack could potentially amount to war crimes if he went through on, say, attacking desalinization plants in Iran. But there's also, of course...
Oh, war crimes? Oh, wait, it may be war crimes. Oh, okay. Thanks, guys. It may be war crimes. Have you considered maybe that's the whole point, is that you destroyed international law for Israel for 3 fucking years? Now the U.S. is just openly threatening total war? It's a little late to mention the whole war crimes thing.
Iran has threatened to reciprocate and retaliate should the United States actually move forward with attacks of that magnitude. And that is something, of course, many United States allies and partners in the Middle East, in the Gulf region, are very much concerned about. Iran saying that they would go after similar civilian infrastructure should the United States follow through on that message from the president. And so there is some hesitancy there. And I do think there are many people in this White House who do want to see diplomacy prevail here and do want to see this staved off. The question, of course, though, is whether or not that's something that the president is willing to do, if he's willing to push this deadline even further or try to come to an agreement before we face 8 p.m. tomorrow night.
All right, Elena Treen from the White House for us. Thanks so much. Wolf.
I want to go to our own Jeremy Diamond right now. He's reporting from Tel Aviv, Israel. Jeremy, as Tehran rejects the idea of a temporary ceasefire, it's also responding to President Trump's threats to Iran's infrastructure. There's a lot going on right now. I know you're covering all of these developments, including the Israeli, apparently Israeli move to kill the director, the head of the Revolutionary Guard Corps' intelligence chief. First of all, tell us about that. Have the Israelis confirmed that they went ahead and assassinated the head of the Revolutionary Guard Corps' chief of intelligence?
Yeah, that's right, Wolf. The Israeli military has confirmed that Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps' intelligence chief was killed in an Israeli strike. He is just the latest of a slew of senior Iranian officials and senior IRGC officials who have been killed in Israeli strikes. Just a few days ago, of course, it was Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps naval commander who had been killed. We've seen a slew of other senior Iranian officials. All of this began, of course, the first day of the war with the killing.
Guys, what you do the day before you're about to sign a peace treaty is you kill the intelligence chief of the other side. That's what you do the day before you're about to sign a peace treaty. Now, the fact that you're all not immediately chortling implies to me that maybe you don't understand why this is ridiculous. Diplomacy and intelligence are two sides of the same coin. So when you assassinate a leader of an intelligence, you are breaking the ability of the counterparty to agree to a diplomatic overture. So they're basically making it impossible for Iran to agree to peace by assassinating the leader of an intelligence agency. They are invading Iran. I don't know what else to say. They're invading Iran, and they're doing it in the style of 2003.
Of the former supreme leader. But now we are waiting to see what more Israel and the United States are prepared to do in Iran. Today, we already saw that Israel is increasingly already going after infrastructure targets inside of Iran, targeting a petrochemical facility today, one that produces about 50% of Iran's petrochemicals altogether. And Israel's defense minister has warned that Israel will continue and carry out more strikes on Iranian infrastructure targets should Iran continue to target residential areas here in Israel, as we have seen them do over the course of this war, including last night when 4 Israeli civilians were killed in a residential building in Haifa that was hit by an Iranian ballistic missile. But the United States is also now threatening to join into the fray and strike those infrastructure targets. So that is the threat of President Trump, with the deadline for tomorrow at 8 p.m. All of this as we are seeing that there is this last-ditch ceasefire proposal on the table to try and avert those strikes, to agree to a temporary 45-day ceasefire. But for now, the Iranians do not seem amenable to that proposal at all. They very much want to see this conflict end with a permanent ceasefire, one that avoids a scenario where in a few months' time you have Israel and the United States both going back into Iran to carry out additional strikes. The Iranians are showing that they are willing to bear the brunt
Do you mean try to capture some irrelevant island or completely overtake the entire country? I think they're going to try to take over some sort of... I honestly think they're going in the mainland. But they may capture an island first. Just so Trump can be like, see, we have boots on the ground and we won. They may conquer an island to use it as an American staging ground. But the problem with that and why it's like... Here's the only, like, I'm 90% confident they're going to invade this weekend. If they don't invade, it'll be because they can't defend their hardened institutions in other Arab states. Like, they can't defend the American embassy in Iraq. They can't defend the American embassy in Saudi Arabia. They're going to put just a bunch of concentrated U.S. troops in a contested environment. That seems like a recipe for disaster. They're evacuating their troops. They're spreading them out into civilian areas. I think it would be unbelievably stupid, which is why I think they're going to do it. Because I, in my mind, cannot justify it. That, to me, convinces me that they're going to do it.
Of the ferocity of the Israeli and American strikes in that country and use their asymmetric warfare assets instead to draw this out into a war of attrition and seeing if President Trump will blink.
And very quickly, Jeremy, in addition to that strike that the Iranians launched against that residential building in Haifa, Israel, I take it the sirens have been going off for much of today in central Israel and the Tel Aviv area where you are.
Yeah, that's right. Well, both overnight and this afternoon, we had multiple air raid sirens going off, one after the other, in fact, which is relatively unusual, indicating that Iran was firing several waves of ballistic missiles in quick succession. Many of those missiles were armed with those cluster munitions. We could hear several...
It's so funny because both Israel and America use cluster munitions. Both Israel and America use cluster munitions. Why are you even bringing it up? Like, we are the non-signatories of the Cluster Munition Convention. Why are you bringing it up? We use cluster munitions. What are you talking about?
Impacts happening, within seconds, milliseconds of each other, indicating small cluster munitions impacts, which have happened here. Multiple injuries as a result, but no fatalities as a result of those cluster munitions today.
I've seen every proposal you can imagine. More proposals.
Is Tuesday your final deadline? Is Tuesday at 8 p.m. your final deadline?
Yeah.
If Iran does not meet your demands, Mr. President, are you willing to continue the war?
Well, you'll have to watch. It's an easy question. The answer is yes, but you'll have to watch.
What do you think of the latest proposal?
They've made a proposal, and it's a significant proposal. It's a significant step. It's not good enough, but it's a very significant step. They have made, they're negotiating now, and they've made a very significant step. We'll see what happens.
Have you spoken to Keir Starmer, Hasan? Also, do you believe the UK could resurrect like Jesus this Easter weekend?
Well, that's what they need. They have a long way to go. The UK has a long way to go. We don't want another Neville Chamberlain. Do we agree? We don't want Neville Chamberlain.
Mr. President, you repeatedly said that. How is the airman that was rescued doing?
He's doing really well. They're both doing.
All right, Chad, I can't listen to this fucking trash anymore. This is too fucking stupid. I'm gonna call it. I'm calling it today. I'm calling it early. I'm sorry. We're gonna come back stronger than ever tomorrow. We're gonna come back stronger than ever tomorrow. I can't listen to this shit anymore. I'm just off. I'm just off. W streamed today. By the way, chat, if you want to hear me at the top of my game, go check out the brand new Reaction podcast. Make sure that you review it wherever you listen to it. Actually, I would really appreciate it if you went and reviewed it positively on the Spotify. We're going to do like a mission. Review the podcast, positively. We have a new episode, Nick Fuentes, today, so make sure you go out and check that out. The Nick Fuentes
Guess
episode.
What? Guys win again, okay? It's your body, my choice.
What you just heard was Nick Fuentes, the barely closeted, half Mexican white supremacist who has become the fresh young face of bigotry in America. Go check it out, chat. Love you. Love you so much. Go check it out. Like, comment, subscribe. The Fuentes episode goes crazy. I think this weekend we're going to be releasing Clavicular with Liv Agar, which, by the way, was my favorite episode we have recorded. So go check it out, chat. Stay safe. Solidarity forever. Join the Patreon. Copy link. Join the Patreon on patreon.com. Help us out. Help us pay our editor. I'll see you all soon. Who am I rating, if anyone? All right, chat. I just don't have any. I don't have the mental fortitude to rate anybody today. All right. See you soon. Peace out. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow. We'll be back our normal schedule. Here's all the links. Stay safe. I'll see you soon. Peace out.